nih.
Map split tingkat 1.
Showed it first on the global stage, but we saw Paper Rex do it in Pacific. Will they carry this cup on here?
I wouldn't be surprised, especially when it's Jing pulling out that Sage. I feel like it's a very comfortable pick for him. It does mean that going into the map, I'm expecting it to be incredibly excited. Like both teams have shown that is where they are favored.
Hi chat.
With on the other side, GX
Chat, I
playing
chat.
that sort of more default comp. I think it's going to be very interesting. The
Todo
other
lah
thing
chat,
was
saya
the
pirit na rin
choice
eh.
that has come out from PaperX. Overall, over the last few months, 9-2. Those 2 losses were in the last 2 games versus RQ and then Zeta, which I've heard from every single member of Pacific Talent that was a blip, but they still took the L. So I'm very interested to see if they've managed to recover back to their better form.
It's such a pick your poison though, right? Into Paper Rex GX, they have to know that if they can bind, Lotus is coming. I'm most excited for Sunset because maybe it's me coping, but I think that is an even playground for both teams.
100%.
Well, they both picked it in their last series.
Yeah.
They both dominated their opposition, and let's not forget GX was against Sentinels. That's a big statement.
Kakaysa ya, dalam
Me too.
Lupis.
GX
Tak sakit ya dia.
almost double the regular season, the stage 2
Untuk
games
Discord
that
dia.
PaperX have. They've got the reps. They know what went wrong back then. They've come into this tournament. They look more.
Tu Kimi favorite tu, Panda.
Throughout the regular season, and week on week they've been playing better.
Eh, Alex pun ada patung. Aku rasa dia punya stress ball loh.
Ya, ada dia mau pukul.
Pasal marah dia tumbuk patung
Dia
tu.
mau pukul ni video dia mau pukul terus dia sayang.
This is the one game that you cannot go missing it.
Okay, let's take a look at Agent Select here. My eyes actually go towards Flickless because I truly believe he is a phenomenal player.
He was going to be my
Jing
highlight coming into
said
this map because I think that he has some of the best supportive flashes, even if his team needs them sometime. But also the timing of the knife, especially on that defensive side, is going to be integral. Starting off on the attack though, a lot of the focal point does come more so onto Ara. Like, is this guy going to be set up to be in that space? And so that combo of Flickless and Ara
Gila ba
needs to be on
PaperX
point,
punya
especially with the sheer
orang-orang
amount of delay the PaperX has.
agent.
You need some of that utility removed. If you're hitting a site and it's all online, you're in trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're coming into a game and looking at Flickless and saying, well, his utility's got to be on point, that's a pretty safe bet. The guy was unbelievable. For me, at least, just at an eye test, I'm not using stats or anything, just watching the damn game. Flickless, I think, is the best utility in all of the MEA.
Yeah, and more importantly, the age-old question: what's better, a dinosaur or a giant? Here's Uber and Wyatt to answer that.
PaperX dinosaur kan.
Sure, yeah, one of the more compelling questions. Keeps me up at night. They might have giant in the name, but MEA's number 2 seed are definitely the David in this David versus.
Oh, baru saya tahu T-Rex tu burung.
Ayam pada. Ayam bermacam ayam.
I'm excited for this matchup.
Syed, kau belum masih bagi tahu aku lagi apa kode tadi.
Tournament for me.
Habis sudah kan? Kau makan sudah kan?
Belum.
Tipu.
Belum.
They run so many aggro strats.
Belum, tapi mulut perlu.
Probably the most unique team all time in Valorant. I think this should make for a very interesting stylistic game.
Sedap
Going to be
tengok.
GX on the attack side to start us off, and already Ara's gotten himself pretty deep up mid.
Buy something. Baru je aku cakap buy something. Kenapa pro buat something ni?
Spike dropped
Yeah,
in mid.
teleport.
Cloud and Westside trembling hands to pick up the pieces.
Mesti orang ingat tu Europlon kan.
That he has been on throughout stage 2 until now, in one of the absolute peaks of his career at the
Aduh,
moment.
kalah lagi balik.
A tad bit too adventurous, perhaps, in mid. So the tiniest of openings for GX, the PaperX are ready to just flood onto them and get an ace.
Well, ace. Well, ace for the boy. Jump, bounce, just like Bambi.
Mati dua bang. Astaga.
Pistol round ace for something. And PRX start out with a very nice little burst of confidence. And this is why
Mesti dorang bincang macam ni kan. First round ni mesti mid, kita letak something di mid.
Absolutely not. It's just
Tak boleh letak orang lain. Dilarang.
capable of this, but genuinely though, yeah, something's wrong at the moment.
Cuba taruh mijan udah.
Jangan letakkan.
Cuba taruh mijan.
Coba taruh saya. Kalah tu.
Kita coba kalah.
and West Side.
Ayan. Menang dia tuh.
Ara's gotten himself pretty deep up mid.
Yakin ya, Pak?
Ready for it, turns to flash, and now for contact is just too good. What an opener. Talk about wind taken out of switcher.
Yeah, that was for some.
Nah, kau tengok dia orang letak something di A kalah di B. Aduh. Patut letak something di B tadi. Kau flash untuk siapa tu?
Pretty isolated there, Flickless, without an opportunity to actually get involved, and now that slow orb will make it difficult for him to work his way back out. Defuse here for PRX, and important weapons will be maintained. We're going to have a switch up of our diffuser here briefly as Jing gets off, something gets on, working towards a very early dimensional drift for the Yoru.
Horrible way. Nice that something goes down to 1 HP, but then gets a heal with Jing, so he can just go run it Flickless with a judge. Go for part 2. GX fans hoping that first round ace, and what we've witnessed so far, not an omen of the next 11 rounds to come for Paper Rex. This is such a challenge for GX. I mean,
come on GX, kalah lah. Kalah lah GX, come on GX.
Genuinely beating Sen in that first round.
Come on lah GX, kalah lah, tolong lah.
GX kalah lah.
They have to
come on GX.
They've got great set plays and really well drilled. That's something that stands them in good stead to tip the scales in there.
Nah, aku tengok dorang letak something di situ, bukan masuk mid. Kalah ni.
When you're not feeling that pressure, you can kind of just go for the jump with it, throw it down deep, and then back away. Paper Rex are doubled up here on Cat, and something still with the judge.
Okay lah.
While there was that sound bait coming through from Jing, he was just kind of tapping, trying to make a little bit of a distraction.
Chat.
Slow start here for GX. Now they've
What should I do, chat? What should I do,
decelerated
chat?
through mid a little bit with an out drone clearing market. They do not want to run into a judge in that corner or
Siapa
someone
ada
else.
teaser tu? Si something ada.
Batman.
Backs out of
Dan
it.
Exo.
Divine knocks
Oh,
him down
yeah,
to 20 as well from
yeah.
Switch.
That is a lot of damage exchanged. Gravino does have that
So, dorang
kit
dapat
available
baca
at the
ni
moment,
sebelum
Paranoia,
sini.
so the team can try to get
Siapa dapat
into
baca?
tree, but I'm not even sure they're aware they're walled off until they're going to get much closer here. Wall about to break though. 3
Yeah.
Paper Rex players expecting this to come through though.
They're going to find out this is Paper Rex, for God's sake. You know they're not
Ay.
going to you pass them by. Paranoia thrown out. Jing's able to capitalize. Are a very
Jing ba main sis?
strong wind to blow him over.
Yeah,
Forsaken
Jing
for more than just hot
message.
air. Here's Grabino.
Jing memang
Has to
suka
work
main
up onto the A
Sage.
side.
Tak, kalau
Smoking
teaser
his
dia
way.
main
Anjing.
Spike on the other side of tree with 12 seconds left.
Di split pun dia main
Mercy money to
Sage.
batten the hatches here and just try and survive.
Only option at this point in the round.
Saving ka?
Paper Rex maneuvered the map there was so
Baru
lovely.
terterang tak
Late into that round, they insert something with that judge close up in the
Leading round.
main. The rest of the players on that sort of
Lemah lah.
side, they pivot over towards tree, reading that GX.
Oh, lupa,
going to
ni
try
jak
to
kerja
go for
dorang
a
ada.
Split up Cat when that wall expires. As soon as they start making noise there were 3 Paper X players ready to go. Paranoia, and then initially it's just the run and gun from Jing.
Lapar, aku lapar betul.
Swinging with the Phantom.
Kan KMC kah?
Really lovely round for Paper X. Like,
Belum saya makan.
This team surrendered
Sampai
early
4 ni dorang
defense
throw ni
side
tengah.
round over to RRQ in that Pacific
Gameplay
matchup
dorang.
in that final. They were so
Baru
dominant on
4-2.
this defense
Baru
side.
dorang
Some
serius.
wine position taken up this time by Forsaken. Again,
Dorang ingat iko round dorang boleh menang.
And the second
Siapa ingat?
GX activate, they could get hit by slow
Wih,
orbs from
dan
Jing.
macam line
That
up-nya.
one's gonna go down, but Aura gets ahead of it. Lovely Paranoia again. There's some
Abel.
good util setup for
Tidak.
GX.
Sino yang mati?
Unfortunately, it's just come on eco round so far.
blown out first. Jing flattened by West Side. Always good with the
Nah.
Sheriff, and now
Aduh,
into the side. GX
leceh.
are swarming over it.
That was just alert to the Cat, I believe. Something stops the plan though. Very low on HP, a lot of danger. He's got to back up just a bit.
Yep, this buys time for a
Oh
check.
my
It's there to
God.
Patman.
Why?
The passage are able to hold it down here from A main, and look at this wrap from something. Look at the gate crashes.
He has flanked so quickly. I do not think Cloud is going to expect this whatsoever.
Tunggu guys.
In case there was a late flank.
Alah.
Now though, he stepped up. What an angle! Ara though has the presence of mind.
Jauh ni,
A
pusing.
massive drifting here.
Ya tengok juga sana.
Paper X were trying to show some of that aggression towards A main. The
Banggalah kau GX
came a
menang.
bit too late. And a couple rounds now, we have
Astaga.
seen
Itu
Gravino
lagi
throw
juga.
out a Paranoia at a great time. And
Creepy,
Aura able to
creepy lah.
capitalize. it happened on just the round 2 eco, so they weren't able to convert. They didn't have the weapons. But here, Aura had a hero rifle, so he gets in. He gets that first. West side flanks through Cat. Gets
Dorang
that
ingat, dorang pro sudah begitu.
super well done.
Westside pretty terrifying with the Sheriff in hand. That was something showcased extensively against Sentinels. PRX falter slightly here. Money such that though they can...
Wih, dengan operate gila dorang ni.
They can eventually stave off a mid where 4 players for GX taking up shop.
He's picked up the op. Oh my god, Westside. Those are the kind of shots he hits with some crazy consistency. Just the good crosshair placement, fast reaction shots.
And he didn't have to be firing against Sentinels. The rest of his team were doing so well, but now it's a great opportunity to step up and show that individual skill. Shorty here for Ara. Inside the smoke, and it does its job. Forsaken is dealt with now quickly, trying to double back around to the side. Digging out that last defender. Devi in the corner. Only going to be able to find his one. Patman kept off the fight with that smoke towards defender spawn.
And now that remaining PRX duo, they're just forced to save. GX
Uninstall lagi.
Suara dia macam gitu.
Early round on these last couple, and it has paid off. It's resulted in early picks. Something going for that aggro play in B main, immediately dealt with. And then the exec onto the site really accelerated. Aura beats the timing into the smoke. The Devi is just left on site alone, overwhelmed. GX have done a nice job catching out Paper X early.
Tak berani mah.
It's well set up. I think Grabinho was a player we definitely want to highlight here early. 4 assists to his name. Paranoia setups though have been excellent. Now PRX got to be a bit more respectful off the rip here. That was a early presence by Forsaken over towards Catwalk that was punished. There was some spam through, and then a push off of that B side.
Look, I mean, something barely even got around the corner before being hit by that. Aura beats the timing for Forsaken into the smoke. I like that from him. It's a calculated risk. Pays off.
There are similarities between how these two teams played the defense side. I think GX almost see a reflection of themselves in some of these info pushes and this proactivity from PRX.
So PaperX investing into this round a fair bit around the 2 guns that were saved. Of course, if they lose, they'll have a max out loss bonus. But something picks up the Judge on account of having that dimensional drift. And they have the Hunter's Fury to combo with it. So that could be very potent if used at the right time. Getting Hunter's Fury's tags, but then also in the chaos, popping out with a Judge on someone.
PRX insisting on some mid-control with a smoke at tiles that just gets walked up through by GX. They've been able to drift over towards that catwalk position, but now 2 players taken up in tree. I see Forsaken play back towards the site a little bit more, but once more, we're going to see PRX fight if there is a push off catwalk. Refresh that one way at A main.
Sudah ni 2 ekor ni. Salah sudah.
Funnel elsewhere. But GX are unperturbed so far.
See if they just have to wait that out. They do have a drone from Cloud that could be used to clear through it. Yeah, that is going to maneuver, and now Paranoia immediately going to at least stall GX up. Something getting close with this Judge right into main.
Mana smoke.
To be mindful of this. Check.
Bye.
Important, there it is. Okay, Zero comes in, but something just steps back. He doesn't have the gate crash out, and then opts to step forward. Cloud now with a Hunter's Fury, Forsaken avoiding for the time being. Does get pinged out by that second shot. Goes low, it doesn't matter. He handles Grabinho. Manhandles him up close. Now that tree control is there for PRX. GX though forcing it on the site. They got Gen presence. Patman. Got an Owl in. Spots that A main player.
Cloud crossing to Wine. Door went down at the perfect time. No one for PaperX having the opportunity to flood in because of it. But now with the man advantage trying to press through catwalk. Issue being Forsaken has to close the gap with the Judge at some point. There's 1 Sheriff. Weapon would be better for GX.
But just has a room to clear the dart, but they know he's there. It doesn't seem to matter. Here is the null command that comes out. It's Devi and Jing. They have to fight through it now. There's no other choice for it. From upper, West side finds yet another. It's on Jing. Suppressed, no Cloud is likely in A main. Sends his crosshair in that direction. Drops down. Tries to isolate the 1 versus 1s. The Flickless will not be shifted. And GX have even upped the game.
So difficult to get a kill on the drop like that. Lovely shooting from Flickless. That initial one onto Cat. Tight angle was really clean. I like that decision to use the Hunter's Fury just straight away from Cloud when they got the position on something, and because he was hit by that 0 point, then he just feels pressured. Oh, I gotta do something. Goes into the open, he's scrambling. Gets shot down, and then again, it's GX. They pick up the pace nicely after that.
pinging out 2 players of that Hunter's Fury was pretty big. I think Forsaken ate the 2nd and 3rd bolts from it.
I mean, yeah, Forsaken gets that crazy kill in the smoke because it was just such a chaotic situation for Grabino to try to figure out. But yeah, he took so much damage. GX set up well in the post flank.
PRX always trying to arrange their pieces to have like at least decent numbers for these GX pushes. We see Jing trying to refresh that one way to A main, hoping to funnel GX through towards tree. But GX had their own gameplay and they're confident. They owl drone in. There's a paranoia straight away just to try and deny any direct follow-up right behind that owl drone. A fast play gets shut down, but in the end, there's so much to work with. Null Command, Hunter's Fury, both committed to that engagement. And it pays off for GX. Hard-fought attack side rounds wide. They've evened things up.
Yeah, and Paper Rex, they did make a pretty big investment into that last round, right? So they can get a meager bit of a half buy going. Looks like something not going to commit any cash here, so you can buy the operator on this subsequent round.
Yeah, it's truly been Paper Rex's year so far. The only thing they're missing, of course, is the cherry on top. Global title, all well and good. They're looking for that World Championship. It's on the table here. This is the kind of matchup they need to kind of be dominating to get that level of confidence. Remember, the winner in this series will advance to playoffs.
Paperx just hoping that someone early would have gone over towards B, walked into that multi-stack of players, and it looks like now if they get a ping with this drone, they might just swing out with a few from mid.
Flash start here to follow it up. There's a lot for GX to deal with. The hands are kind of tied. The Cloud, comfortable enough from Catwalkers. The level of disruption they've been able to induce down in Divine Forsaken. They take a classic gamble up mid, bit of a Chico vibe.
It was a cool play attempt, syncing up that paranoia plus the flash. After confirming information on a player mid with the drone. Not mad at the play, cool attempt, but yeah, ultimately GX just have way better guns.
Cloud also had turned the flash and someone else shot the dart for him, so he had his crosshair positioned correctly and was ready to fight. Some stall here, of course, on this belated attempt at B. The sheer wall has to be respected. That will be drawn out now. Gets Westside at least over to logs.
Sank it and anchoring pretty deep in the site, but now all alone and dealt with perfectly clean, flawless round from GX. Come on, baby. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I was the only one. After those first 3 rounds, when PaperX converted the bonus, I was worried. I was worried that they were going to begin to run away with the game, but then GX ecoed them back. A 4-round run. They're looking really good right now. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and maybe it's what the players had been mentioning before this game of we don't really feel pressure. We're GX. People didn't even think we were going to be here. Yep. We're going up against the best team in the world, the reigning champions from Toronto. We have 3 rookies. We don't have any pressure. We're huge underdogs.
Divide trying to hold close here. It's going to be a steel garden thrown out. Ara already got himself over towards that spawn side. Not a lot to see there. And somehow Cloud is all the way back there. What a wrap here for Forsaken. TP obviously gets himself in a position to harry them from defense spawn. From the attack side even. And so Grabino never really got to set foot on this B site at all.
What a crazy counterplay from Forsaken to just disrupt the plans of GX entirely. I mean, look at the X's on the map right now of where the dead GX players are. It's like in the spawn of the defenders damn near.
It's like we used to see Jing do on Icebox. Same idea, right? That TP into spawn. Smoke assisted though on Icebox in fairness. This guy just rips it. Love that from Forsaken. And on the other end, right, it's a steel guard and that definitely slows GX up. So it puts them on a real clock when there's an Omen player teleporting into this
just pushes them into Forsaken. Alright, that was a crazy little scenario.
Yeah, like Ara got ahead of it, right, but not in a position to be sort of followed up on it all. It was a PRX round of all rounds, for sure. Grabino loves that spot. So does Boaster, by the way. That little TP on the box of top mid. Nothing to be gained from there right now. It's actually a pretty deep dark cover thrown out here by GX.
As this operator was saving for on one of the prior rounds, controlling mid at the moment. As GX Currently setting up for a split into this B site. Patman ready to let that recon go once they get through the choke point. So they can try to spam some of these players down from back site through Boathouse.
Oh, that is dirty. Ara is so close. And there's a noise cut in mid, or rather PRX. Don't see GX as they pull out of that part of the map and leave the insert. Something's back in the game and Ara might have something to say about it, but the slow orb meant there's no direct follow-up on that res attempt. It's Cloud falling. Divine getting control from...
Oi, tolong, oi!
Gravino's got the follow-up now. Patman has to fight for himself. Chuck down, still gets the kill. And now Dimensional Drift is going to get something into the site, but he's holding nothing but an operator. Jin can also work out from spawn as well. There's Westside. Damn, he's been good today. Very sharp.
Amazing.
Should wait a
Just
moment.
on. Why just on?
Aduh, macam tak bagus sos ini.
He's got Jing to help him this time. Flickless watching Speedway though. Jing's going to have to be quick with this adjustment, and he is. So much so he doesn't take any damage.
Ih, dorang tahu.
Hard fall round for PRX, but they'll take it.
Beautiful attempt from Westside. Just feels at the very end he needs to adjust the positioning. And something right on top of him with that shorty. Fast for the trade. This was an insane little shot from Aura to open the roundup. Point of view. The second Aura is right out there.
Sick two-piece there from Westside. For me, it's Jing being able to get that correction of aim onto the plant spot.
And having the res available in mid, just bring it right back to the 5-on-5.
Yeah, kind of.
Berapa shot dia punya hit kalau jarak macam tu?
Super important round to use it, and that was onto something that has the dimensional drift to follow up into the site.
But that'll condition PRX
now. Bagi lo kan ada.
Into mid could imply an insert being left behind by GX for later in the round.
Westside with that cam. Just going to up and something that time, a bit of vengeance onto Aura.
Kau ingat something tak boleh bagi kena
trying to hit one of these ascent sites. Totally removed.
Tadi dia nak nampak saja.
It's going to be really difficult for GX from here on out, especially if they go towards that.
Skop tu terlampau besar.
You're just going
to outline dia.
If you go into the stage, one slow orb, no one can get past it. You're all just trapped. Maybe Gravino can try to go for some kind of crazy TP, but outside of that, not a lot of options.
It's a sheer wall inside tree. Something can play off that after trying to take it.
Nah, Omen belakang something. Bye.
No one is able to. It's not really a play to be made off of it, unfortunately.
Down mid, look at this double face that's been set up randomly by PX. They've just assembled this in response. That again, Cloud. Spam down just as the smoke bloomed. Flickless fortunate to get across and
replay, hacking.
There are rotations being drawn for PRX, aside from the fact that Jing is just drenched in the corner.
It's disgusting. And again, Jing with the crucial frags. Knock the wheels off the GX bus.
GX had a really cool game plan there, Rubinho was working through A main. He found a pick. If you looked at the top of the map, everyone from PaperX, after he got that kill, were being dragged towards A. It was just Jing who was fully committed to that site.
30 seconds.
If he even goes 1-for-1, Gravino's teleporting back. Obviously, still a horrific position for GX, but I think they had a cool game plan that is just ultimately unraveled because Jing puts together a really sick multi-kill.
Remember that solo hold for Jing with the wall sets up the double face in mid for that spam kill.
Wow, paranoia straight up. Everyone slow orb as well. Oh my god, this is miserable.
Hey! Oi, ni latro semua, ni latro.
Everyone on GX aside from Westside just damaged.
Okay, ndak sudah orang tu. Oh, nak pergi depan terus. Nah, tro.
Astaga.
Woi, semua lo sudah. Woi, semua lo. Oi. Aduh, Davai. Aduh, Davai. Kau free fire, Davai.
Sudah, Davai.
Apa aja enggak tembak free fire. Lo sudah bongok juga si Davai ini kalah dengan Saifu balik-balik.
Kenapa sudah?
Westside clutches up.
Oh, sudah.
Okay, that's only DEFCON 5.
Sudah.
Ah, wala stuck ko.
Coach Gol Mara.
Marah.
Immediately paranoia speedway. They're very, very keen to get on the
Coach Gol Mara, guys.
Flash from the KO, insta just pop out. That was with all 4 players so weak, stuck in the choke for ages at that point.
There's just a symphony of util lined up. These set plays for GX, man, are so clean.
Kenapa dorong
That's
macam
what has
tawa
really
lagi
impressed me about them on both attack and defense, on their
Gonna
executes.
replace
The
system.
sequencing of their util and timings, so tight compared to the competition.
Line up.
And that contrasted with PRX's just innate talent, ability to flood like no other team. A little bit of a difference of styles there.
Tangan.
Paranoid, Forsaken, he tries to back away. He actually avoids the one that comes in Jen's direction, and Nara now is above him. Not ready for Forsaken.
Nice
To
move.
crouch, from below.
Mati kau.
And then gets straight on out, like only he does. There's Arthur's Fury here
Mati
from the heaven
kau.
side.
Oh.
Forsaken
Oh.
ready to get messy.
Tro.
On the side itself. Cloud barely alive. Jing puts him out of his misery now. It's on Flickless. Gets bounced, flashed, and rolled by something.
Standing
Yun na,
front
no.
of PRX. And this is
Wala.
the exact kind of fun pace that I wanted to see in a PRX versus GX games. 2 teams that are highly coordinated and willing to absolutely send it on the opponents.
I mean, PRX are the team that are going to force you, they're going to drag you to pay at that fast pace, right? You will need to compete for timings, fight aggressively over this space, but GX are happy to do with that because they've got such sick prep, such a good foundation of set plays on this map. They will go to that gear. Let's have a break here at halftime. Standing over to the stage, Lou is standing by with a very special guest.
Kenapa banyak betul tisu sebelah
Et
Jing.
pour un jour de semaine, on est ravis
Dia goncang dulu sebelum main.
Gentex ici à nos côtés. Pleasure to welcome Elise. We have Gentex fan here. Welcome. First of all, and
Tas
the
pentas
first
pula.
question I wanted to ask you is
Budak
that you
hingusan.
Ya, sebelum orang datang ah.
how does it feel, to have GX fans here in Paris despite the French and Spanish rivalry?
It's so cool to see everyone here rooting for GX, and I think you are too, right?
I'm an EMEA girly, but never biased, guys, never biased, of course. Donc première question, qu'est-ce que ça fait
Kenapa gigi kuning?
français ici malgré la rivalité Espagne-France?
Tak pakai Colgate ke?
Évidemment l'ambiance ici et on a peut-être une hausse qui est un petit peu biaisée pour l'IMEA, mais jamais. Second question, we know that the season has been hard for GX. No one was expecting them, at champs, and yet here they are. So
Colgate mahal ke kat Europe?
for fans, who struggle to follow their team in hard times.
Well, you just have to believe in your team, really. And they had such a great run on stage 2. It was really nice. And seeing them fight against PRX, it's so nice.
RM20 ke 30 Itu dah cakap.
Donc un petit conseil peut-être, c'était dur la
30
saison.
ouais.
Ils sont remontés de loin et bah oui, il faut continuer de croire en sa team. Ils sont remontés pendant le stage 2 et ils ont une vraie belle run. So let's see if the fan.
Last aku pergi toilet berbayar dekat KLCC sial. KLCC.
Itu
Nak
tingkat
masuk
bawah je.
I think there are more
Makcik minta RM2 Kukil makcik.
Itu tingkat bawah je. Kalau kau naik atas, murah sudah.
And this guy is a big part of that. I suspect something.
tu kat mana ya?
Highlight for your Coinbase econ report.
Bayar RM2 bayar aku mantak je kat dalam.
Just pure audacity. I think he's 7-0 at the start of the game. He does slow down. He goes, 14-7 after that fact, but obviously always in the engine room for PRX.
And keeping that rating high while purchasing 3 ops as well. That's, I think, kind of the standout part for me. Was getting a lot of value with those late. Some of the shotguns too had some great dimensional drifts, but yeah, something right now looking like the best player for Paper X up until this point versus Westside for GX, whose aim right now is also just unreal.
It's crazy. We saw GX on the attack side, but in these post-class, Paranoid, he tries to back away. He actually avoids the one that comes in Jen's direction, and Nara now is above him, not ready for Forsaken to be crouched, perched from below. Something gets in and then gets straight on out, like only he does. There's Arthur's Fury here from the heaven side. This Forsaken's ready to get messy. On the side itself, Cloud barely alive. Jing puts him out of his misery now. It's on Flickless. Gets bounced, flashed, and rolled. Paranoid, Forsaken, he tries to back away. He actually avoids the one that comes in Jen's direction, and Nara now is above him, not ready for Forsaken to be crouched, perched from below. Something gets in and then gets straight on out.
Dia kena pull dari belakang je.
Arthur's Fury here from the heaven side. This Forsaken's ready to get messy. On the side itself, Cloud barely alive. Jing puts him out of his misery now.
Kenapa saya dengar 2 bunyi?
Gets bounced, flashed, and rolled.
Saat kenapa saya dengar 2 bunyi?
Belakang Jing.
Spotted out already. Batman might have to do something about this It's Ara with the stopping power to put 2 PRX players in the dirt.
Kalah sudah nih PRX begini. Brazil nih menang. Biarlah Brazil menang. Biarlah Brazil menang.
Lompat udah.
Kalah sudah nih PRX.
Menang.
Aku sebut kalah baru aku dorang menang.
What a sick play from something. He takes the time to jump into the smoke off the break.
Ini pula trip-trip battle siege.
Udah lambat waktu mesti kena punya belakang.
Really cool maneuver to get them back into that 3-on-3, and then Paper X doing what they do best, which is everyone fights together.
It's unspoken. It's purely instinctive from PRX in that post plant. Like the idea from GX to contact play up.
Dia letak flash situ.
From a backstab opportunity, but 2 from Ara.
Kenapa dia letak flash situ?
It felt like it really should have been. Paper X take down both pistol rounds now.
They're super active. Look at GX. Look how fluid they are. In motion constantly.
Tunggu orang datang baru dia flash gitu.
How did that hit all 3 of them? That was crazy.
Yeah. Now they're going to make a play off of Catwalk, but PRX already.
Nice. Oi! Oi, check corner!
Didn't expect Rubinho with Flickless baiting for that position, but even still, they traded out. What a shot. Laura. Oh my god, GX. What on earth is happening? They're just winning straight up duels, hitting crazy shots with pistols.
Divide realizes he needs to put this Vandal to work on the side itself for a retake, and he's just got around the corner.
Why?
Vandal at range. I'm fine with the fight, bro. You gotta win that. That is unreal. I cannot believe GX are winning these fights though. Still, Forsaken.
Yes, sir, let's go.
Open angle with the Bulldog. These guys have a combined
Aduh,
50
timing.
HP.
30 and 20 respectively.
What?
What?
Is that from West
Macam mana dia nampak?
What a filthy round from GX, man. Thrifty. Proactive always up.
Macam mana dia nampak? Macam mana dia nampak? Dia bilang dia boleh nampak.
See that from Westside's point of view. What was that? I mean, he must have seen Forsaken's legs under the smoke or something. Well, I mean,
Macam mana dia nampak? Aduh, ni pula kalah dengan flash.
Westside is
nampak bak kaki dia.
Yeah, cheats the leg.
In this game so far, won both pistols, but also flip side. GX, they've won 2 eco rounds.
Yeah, 2 massive thrifties at pretty important points in the game.
Astaga.
PRX realizing that their opponents are not to be trifled with.
Astaga, kalah sudah PRX. Benda macam tu boleh kalah. Kenapa si Davai mau lawan juga tadi? Aduh, hai.
Masalahnya dia lawan tu klasik kot.
Itulah.
Kalah
dengan klasik, bikin malu.
Or rather, I think that might have just been a ping from the drone. Either way, you know, he did have support, someone able to keep eyes on top cat while Aura was in this very forward position, which he's just retaining, by the way. But he'll have that support. Here's Flickless.
I'm going to recheck this. So said Aura, pop flash for his duelist. Cloud and Flickless though, put this one to bed.
And the 2 major things that Paper-X are going to have to overcome to win this out on attack, I feel.
Bagus lagi saya pergi farm to send clarity.
Their willingness to aggress, throw set plays at you.
Uy, boleh tahan no? Saya main one human 81 jam.
Kalau main macam gini baik aku tengok si Steve.
Tu dia hantam. Dia pukul tu warna biru tu.
Going for the scoped weapons, being very proficient with them, and then if you're trying to avoid those, you're going into West Side Cypher. It's just not an actual Cypher one trick, but play Cypher as much as he possibly can.
Why like this? Because it was born to be.
That is going to be the test for Paper-X.
Already audacious early posturing from Aura.
Calm down, Mijan, calm down.
Wanting to claim this space, and no one from
Aduh,
PRX looking to
sedapnya
challenge top
kan.
mid themselves. They play to the
Noted Mijan.
externalities of the map.
Westside has pushed up quite far into B main.
Saya mau tengok saya punya
Run away back to that Cypher setup. If they chase, it's really close for him.
nanti bagi
Take some damage. Definitely needs to be on the run.
The Blood Moon returns. Visual will S2 Luna River.
One of them just procced by that clone, destroyed by a shock afterwards.
Making able to bring Westside down eventually. I think he was concerned about a push up into his other tripwire. Couldn't play off it.
Something gets backside very quick off that teleport.
Timur ke barat, selatan ke utara.
Returns up with the operator. It's more than Forsaken can handle.
Rex had Divide very late coming through B main. I think he'll potentially be this critical factor if GX do go for the retake.
It's being smoked for. GX trying to cover that at least. Now making her way towards Switch. It's actually something back in the side. Got picked off. What a flash! What a setup for Flickless. And Ara's got himself. Patman about to be swarmed. Finds the first. That was the blade.
Jangan tengok, kalah sudah tuh, jangan tengok.
Gets the speedway. Flickless now has to dance. Dodge.
Allah.
Duck dip and dive.
He's gotten it to half.
Divide. Oh, nice. Though is able to out of the game.
Shit baik.
Oh, you got the side, man.
Sebab si Davai. Noob.
Stress dah.
Davai selalu noob.
This time catches out that very low HP Westside trying to retreat back sight. Good attempt, and I like as well that once GX get a couple kills here, they realize, okay, one of these guys is going to be late B main. We just have to get to the site ASAP. Go forward. But then Patman
just run out of time.
Yeah, Patman does a good job there, but Divide closes things out. Pretty sick round.
Still a buy for GX though. These have been very,
Ih,
very
salah
costly. Attack side wins for
buka.
PRX. Costly as they've been though. It's a 2-round lead that's secured themselves after a very weird start to this half.
The cash for both teams looking pretty dismal after this buy, by the way. This is a very important round in that regard.
Paranoia here from Grabino in response. Saw one come from PRX. Hunter's Fury now active, and Flickless tries to step out, take the fight on his own. Grabino will be called on as well. Are on top of the wall. Made use of Jing's architecture to his favor. Down to 2 PRX. Need this spike recovered, but Ara's not going to leave that area for free.
Both GX players on the way. No way, Aris is looking over top. Is that it? Hey, Diang's got the angle. Patman goes down. It's all on Divide in the clutch. He wanted that last round, but this one, surely not, right? Too many GX players alive.
Look at them starting to encroach now, especially behind this Al drone. Ara knows he can probably play off that. Arc Rose for Divide doesn't get him enough equity in the 1 versus 3. And step by step, GX are staying alongside PRX in this race.
Ara getting some very, very high impact moments in this second half. He has been on point.
Kenapa si Cingwol?
Ada orang tengok si Ara ni, Pak. Masuk membuta.
Up to 16, now tied with something at the top of the board. And as I mentioned, that round economy was tragic for both teams. Of the utmost importance that either of them had taken on. Now GX have a real opportunity to tie up this game at 9. They just have to handle a Paper Rex eco, couple sheriffs, something, divide with the 2 of them.
Trying to apply a pocket for themselves so that smoke forward in B main by the attackers. 0 point only spots out the Sage here.
Something going to keep control of.
Oh, itulah kan dorang punya.
Make noise as he runs away from B main.
Nice on
Okay, 25, level 25 lagi.
Access to the orbs across the map, can round the world it. When we get to the next buy, they're going to have likely 4 ultimates. I mean, pretty much guaranteed Divide will at some point get a kill, go down. Either way, we'll have the Steel Garden.
GX have seen enough though to stack correctly for this eco push off PRX. A Ghost and a Sheriff's all they really got to work with now, so this Outlaw should feast. Ara gets his Robinho. Happy to stand on the site and fight, but he's down by the Ghost player.
Timur ke barat.
Flickless belatedly brings him down. Something with a TP forward onto the side, but that spike's still loose out in main. And Flickless has no reason to leave that fairly passive position.
Oh.
Had a good hold. Crosshair placement broken. And so is the lead of PRX.
So they get those orbs, they get 4 their ultimates ready to go. A bit of damage would have been nice, given the GX economy is not off the ground.
Sudah saya cakap.
they kept it honest and win this next one. Back, but hey, even still, they'll be happy to just get to this gun round with the ults they've got. Timeout call.
Bronze tuh, semua
the game
bronze.
plan with them to ensure that they win this critical round.
Yeah, this gun round is everything for PRX, and they've invested in it, of course, getting those orbs earlier on in their eco. All but the Hunter's Fury at the ready. That means, of course, Dimensional Drift, there's a res there if needed, and a Steel Garden for these side hits. It's a big point of contention, I think, between the Cypher and Vice choice on this particular map. And you can see that frustration here for Alex, because PRX are being disrupted frequently by GX. They are very fluid on the defense side. You watch them, they look like a kicked anthill, even early in the round. Always repositioning, always establishing control of the map, re-clearing in 2s and 3s, just drifting back and forth. Tough for PRX to put their thumb on them, and honestly, GX are stalling well enough to make sure they've got a decent shot at these holes, right? They don't want to play off sites for post parts. They want to get in an anchor and they want to throw down. Bloody hell, I mean, Gromino sat inside Jing's smoke that he tries to, or rather Forsaken smoke that he tries to TP into. These guys are not giving any ground.
Just uses that as his own anchor smoke, basically. All right, what is the plan here for GX with a few players towards mid? They've been doubling up Gromino, Flickless towards Cat early round a lot.
Goes here.
Do they try to go for something proactive on a round where they know PaperX will have some kind of big ult play in, as the idea? And yeah, they do. I think that's a good move. Try to do something to disrupt the plan that Alex has just provided to the team. And the timeout!
They walked into it. This is not the first time we've seen this push up in the mid for GX.
Gromino can stay pretty damn aggro because he can teleport whenever he wants. Yeah, he's just going to do that now after getting the first kill. Safe line, but they've got the advantage. Just get out. It's totally fine, right?
Gate crash at home, really.
Smoke off, so the res can come through onto something. That's one ultimate expended for PaperX. Very important one, obviously. So, though it always feels bad that your opening kill amounts to effectively nothing, hey, you got a crucial ult out of PaperX, so...
But that's your early mid-control smoke burn.
Who's next?
By Forsaken.
And now an immediate pivot to B main, where this Dimensional Drift will be used by something. You will soon learn that the B site is absolutely free for the taking. PaperX can maneuver their way in, and will be headed towards just a big 5-on-5 retake, in which Devi has the Steel Garden ready to go, but Morgan not smoked off. GX, it looks like they want to accelerate.
They don't have the smoke, because they had to use it in order to get the res up land. Already, PRX's util has been taxed before they even hit this B site. The slow warp, though, towards defense side spawn denies any anchor, any fight for space to GX. They have to play retake now.
PaperX will have to get a really good time.
Dapat masih kat dalam. Kan something dah ada tengok belakang.
Into the Steel Garden. It looks like they want to fight.
It's timely.
No, they're going to take it slow.
And something
Bodoh dah guna ni.
Cute.
Suspense up to 10.
Holy shit.
Swing up that land. West side inside the fight. Flick this down. Gromino finds his. And
Bodoh dia.
Gladiators inside this B side. A hard fought round that gets them the lead.
What a retake. That is astounding.
Dah pakai ulti.
Open it with this kill, trade it for the res, sure.
What happened, man? What happened?
I mean, Westside just deletes both anchors.
Enemy remaining.
He is in outrageous form at the moment. PaperX were fully divided 2 and 2. 2 teammates, 2 on site. I mean, Alex is questioning why they're so stacked up in main. They get the paranoia with the Steel Garden out, but they can't really do much off of it because they're smoked off. But even still, that just caused so much delay. It felt like that would be enough. If Westside gets traded on, they probably lose around. But how does he do that?
PRX never had market control. So those two players inside B main that was smoked off, swing that out into the Steel Garden and fight for it. But still sat in market. You don't know if there's still someone there that can punish that kind of play, and you have limited info about who is in the site. There's no recon left available. And PRX actually look...
Ambil lah dulu Red Bull dulu, minum dulu, relax.
Kenapa
Red Bull yang tak minum tu.
Kenapa cantik kau punya kartu?
Tu kalau sibuk minum.
Early in the round to get something back in the game, and they don't have it available to cover the B side. When they hit
Aku kalau manager Red Bull dah habis lah.
one smoke, I think, towards defense spawn, and they've got to go. They've got to take that risk.
GX really played to their out, which was just fighting earlier, trying to apply pressure earlier, getting that kill when they were crossing. because if they do go into a situation where it's just a straight up 5-on-5 retake and they have to contend with the ults,
Nah, Wuti.
right, that's going to be really challenging.
Ara there, just making sure his connections are all good. Best of our understanding, it was
certainly seemed
Ayaw mo
good.
na corrosion belum lagi.
20 and 12
Dapat
on one.
lagi ka to.
He had some impressive maps against Sentinels. That last Haven map, he was the top performer there. But this is a totally different level right now.
you can see just how much he thrives under this really diligent application of util to set him up. And that's the second time now we've seen GX, you know, in that prior round send 2 people up mid, 2 people off catwalk. That's definitely set play that they've been leaning on fairly heavily. And a PRX, I don't know, don't ever play a tiles or don't have any mid presence at the start of the round. That is quite punishable. That round, that was the round that PRX invested Dimensional Drift. The Resurrect obviously was drawn out there earlier on. Steel Guarded was used. It was a round that they really pinned their hopes on. And for that to go up in smoke, you absolutely need to get in the boys' ears and sort something out here. This looks like a tech pause for Gear. We'll be getting our ready checks in just a moment and we'll be off with round 20.
Coming back into this, PaperX is going to be forced into a half-buy situation. The economy has been pretty tough for both teams throughout most of this half. So now GX, with a string of rounds, have a couple capped out players with the money. They are in position to take down their map pick. One we haven't seen from PaperX much at all in this last stage. In fact, it was only in their most recent outing where they beat RRQ in the grand finals. For GX, a map that they've had some success on, a couple losses as well. But of course, both these teams, home map being Sunset, neither of them really wanted to like, waste their pick on it in a way, so they just allow it to float into that final position. And if we get an absolute banger game, both these teams on that map are unbelievable to watch.
We had, of course, a keyboard change there for Ara. I just feel like it needs some LEDs.
Keyboard lagi Ara. Si keyboard sebelum ni tak betul pun main macam tu. Matilah.
We're bringing it back. 4 stingers here for PRX. Are GX the kind of team that are going to be surprised by this? I feel no.
No, I mean the money was good enough that, you know, there's going to be a half by some level, right? So they'll certainly be ready for that. It's just so important again to note as we get back into this loss for PaperX on the prior one. They used 3 ultimates, 3 of them. Res, Steel Guard, and Dimensional Drift. GX, no commitment. They have Hunter's Fury and the Null Command. When we get into the buy round after this, PaperX would love to at the very least force them around here where they've bought Stingers. That would be a solid consolation prize.
Set up here for GX. Now into mid. Ara is now taking that timing, taking that map control. Confident that he can post up here and look towards tiles. It's going to be a fast hit coming from B main. Ara is going to try and wrap around pretty quickly, if I'm not mistaken. West side though, just, yeah, flat with all this. Utility!
Shit!
But they have got each other's
Astaga!
Forsaken is to fight inside the site under the effects of his Null Command. Can't make use of any of that.
So that is one ultimate expended for the sake of GX to win that round. Can't blame them for using those side anchors were under a hell of a lot of pressure. The teleport right on the side, the Cloud had his back.
Westside was done, the Cloud is not ready for that.
And then again, just look at the way he gets on that angle and the crouch, the kick on the headshot angle. He is a crazy good anchor.
Tidak boleh ku tengok ini.
GX already emerging as one of the most compelling stories of
kita pergi naik ni, kita pergi naik ni, jom.
3 rookies taking it currently to
No, kena push.
Naik ni besti.
probably one of the least novel plays in the GX book. Something PRX has never seen before.
Nah, betul kan, jom lah.
Nanti mati ni. Naik main lagi Santares.
Ascent play. He's been running that since the dawn of
Kita
time.
ambil yang level rendah-rendah
It
aja.
still works frequently enough that there's nothing wrong with mixing it in. Cloud getting something on the coast.
Kenapa macam tu?
Nothing else. IGL for GX, but
Kalah sudah tu
individually
orang.
has been no slouch in this tournament, far from it, in fact.
He was 23-9 on Sunset against Sentinels. Plus 15.
Orang kalah ni.
Kalau kalah ni tak tahu nak cakap apa.
Forsaken on that crouch angle, a bit too quick for Cloud to deal with. Crosshair not ready for that, so PaperX able to capitalize on the round, but they absolutely nullify this aggression.
Saya pergi farm agen ya guys. Bye guys.
And the timings end up being a little bit off. Cloud waiting for that recon to land before sending out the Hunter's Fury.
Tat kamu agen ke tat?
Agen lagi kah dari
Berapa ribu?
Rare moment on Super GX where things are not
didn't quite line up
too tight with the timings, and so PaperX, obviously the quality of shooters they have, they're able to just dismantle that somewhat disjointed effort.
So Tech Pause here, it's Ara's in.
Nah, handphone dah dia matukan.
That are now being just handled. When you've got a player who's newer to the stage, maybe newer to some of these match conditions, but obviously an MEA plays under a very similar setup, so just wants to make sure everything is.
Orang putih ni memang tak jenis cuci muka.
Like I was kind of saying, before that tiles crash came in. This is a team that's considered by many to be the best in the world, PaperX.
Muka kotor lah. Macam penuh tahi muka.
Oh, freckles, freckles.
Dia sapu tahi je.
The performance on Sunset was like a 13 points, which was horrendous by comparison. And GX have been able to, despite being matched against a team who plays so fast, it's hard to actually put things in place against them, have been able to execute a number of set plays, not just on the defense side, but obviously also on an attack side, in such a way with a util, the exception of that previous round, was layered so well, almost effortlessly by GX, and they're able to find edges against some of the best individual players in the world. GX have got such a deep playbook as far as it seems to us. No two rounds really look the same.
I'm definitely impressed by the fact that in no situations has it felt like they are shook by going up against the best team in the world, the reigning, defending champions from Toronto, heading into champs. They are just sending it. They are playing for that underdog mentality. Players are making individual confidence plays, taking timings. We've seen that from Aura, especially on this defense side. Oh my god, by the way, Flickless has 20 assists right now. That is crazy, and it makes sense. We have seen him hit a number of important flashes throughout this game.
It definitely feels like, you know, the GX we see when Flickless is on KO, for example, as opposed to like Viper, someone who's less able to assist with like that faster play or less positioned to set up build stuff.
Like his breach on Sunset as well, right? That is just the duo that was added. Flickless, Aura.
An insane flex player. And again, that experience with
Aduh, mau
playing alongside
gravel
some of these players in the past on teams as well, in challenges. Don't forget,
Baru nak beli baju PRX. Tapi PRX sama yang gini tak ada dia nak beli.
pick up these players challenges. And then become stage 2. After a bit of an up and down group stage as the playoffs where they really came alive. These guys
Mahal juga gila.
Ada abang dia dekat TikTok selalu bagi giveaway baju.
they've gone from playing their stage 2 into going up against the reigning champions from Toronto and giving them a heck of a go.
Apa saya tak dapat?
Saya mau orang Kelantan.
PaperX.
Look at this top
$70
bodoh baju dia.
Iya.
Mahal bodoh.
On match point, the economy for the defenders still strong at the moment. Patman is built to that Hunter's Fury, and honestly, you know, PaperX, one thing they have done a great job of on this attack side is controlling the orb game, right? Yeah. Despite using it just a couple rounds ago, Devi is almost at that steel garden.
But in doing so, they often give up mid early, which has allowed for these plays from GX through it. This time, 3 players up mid, they are going for it.
All the way up mid, use that wall to cross from spawn so you can't get shot, flash for lane, something ready to go in.
Cloud and Westside fully anchored for this now, though they are tucked inside Boathouse. Cypher U2 coming up, and Patman's trying to clear them out. The perfect opener, but Cloud is ready for just 2, and there's more coming. He might be ready.
Astaga.
Ara gets involved.
Dah lah ni. Lepas ni dah map yang diorang selalu kalah, tak mau lah.
Who was supposed to be the one that opened the way up? Let them move in behind this Hunter's Fury. Now he's going to do it himself.
Mana saya punya ni ya?
Astaga.
Aura on the angle, ready to go. The double swing out. I mean, GX, they come into this
bukan
playing
tiada
the oldest comp.
buat drill ke hari itu? Drill.
And you don't really really see it too much anymore. And I think
Sudah.
it's valid if you have questions about, man, they're still running this.
Bukan drill untuk
And look at the timing on this. The flash over the top with the double
apa nih
bounce
namanya
recon
yang
comes out. It is just
saya guna kapak tuh?
they are maximizing
Ayer.
tools that this comp has. So
Kucu bro.
Saya
Two assists. Off a
Tadi.
devastating flash.
up to 24
Dah lah boleh
Ini
tutup.
oh ini untuk anu.
taking map 1 against Paper Rex.
Tidak.
Riot is basically walking on palm fronds this game. That is how
Logging chainsaw, vehicle repair drill.
Alright, just straight up B hit off the steel guard and the device, been able to get quite quickly. West side relegated to just that. Sheriff, as Paper Rex are on the entry cage, about to drop. Can he get the skill on the Forsaken? No. Sheriff not strong enough.
seen him find those we need to see. Classic W gaming from PRX now. They have that massive advantage weapons-wise. They're able to leverage it to get this B-side control, but eventually
Oh,
GX
advanced
can reach those
drill.
primaries once
Siapa ada
more.
advanced drill lah?
Sage Wall that's got a gap in it, so Flickless has to show himself briefly with that little gap. Something working those
Itu
angles
juga.
pretty effortlessly, and there's a slow
Sabar,
wall
sabar,
that will
sabar.
waylay
Penting.
Flickless further.
Gravino working through B main. We'll discover that there are no Paper Rex players there this time. Everyone on site. No reason for GX to not go for this. Only one round left.
Kalau
We have a
misalnya
ton
saya
of
bisa
something who's ready to clean things up.
Oh,
Okay, don't know who did that one.
dalam
Flickless at 10.
aku tengok kau ni.
And we know just how solid things have been for GX. They've got decent money
Tapi
here.
Sembarang.
Now to get two guns out of the hands of
Mana
PRX.
tarsinya di
As
assembly
Pacific's
bench?
#1 seed stays alive in map 1.
Just keeping it simple, straight up, big B,
What a
execute
bar.
with the Steel Garden. You know that GX have been anchoring this site hard. Westside is always playing there. You know you're at least going to catch him right. So they get in.
Ya rumah bang.
Bapak mouse dia pun dah 139. Butuh mak dia.
He's only got the Sheriff Westside. He can't win that.
Dubai had to pop his ult really hastily because that 0 point was about to turn his abilities off.
Forsaken tengah
But they
bawah.
had to go there. So round 24 comes. GX still with a map win at their fingertips. Putting PRX out of commission is a hard ask, but look at his mid take again. PRX play more towards an A side of the map. They don't get involved here and they don't see Ara coming.
It is the last round of this game, potentially, and GX playing with no.
Ah, bodohnya.
GX pick a set, and they have got to look for every single round. It's like Paris Fashion Week out there. Always something a little different. Taking that mid control on the defense side.
Kalah kan?
Not ready for this style of play. Not familiar.
Tutup,
with their
tutup, tutup.
game. What an opener for GX here. An upset map win to make the series that
Oh,
much
tat
more
kuningnya
interesting.
ada buff.
Aura
Sebut
with
di rumah
26 kills.
Davai bah, kontol.
He was lethal on defense.
All right, up next we're going to hear from Yintu and the Atlas.
Ay,
Test to
nggak
break that
bagus
map on
cakap
with a very, very
kontol-kontol.
pleased, I'm sure, Mitch Bear. Nice over!
No, but if you
No,
choose
no,
the ace,
no,
they
no, no.
they come to you. Okay, what do you choose? Win or ace? Win and ace. That's what I choose, brother.
2 minutes later.
Bingot. Good job. Nanti saya salah buat.
Happy sangat. Awas sangat. Happy.
Instant, dude. Instant first round ace, dude. When I say that.
Lepas tu
3.
stres. Sendiri stres. Come on.
Things are
Mau
different.
tengok orang main gini yang baik aku yang main Valorant ni.
My family choose different plans. We get what we want
Kan.
and we save money. Love that for me.
An update is required. Financial system updating.
Mana saya boleh ada banyak skill? Pandai lah.
Ui, ada update dah.
The future of money is here.
Ya, ada update.
Oh, replay system tu kan.
If you wanna win, you have to win against the best. So looking for revenge.
Kan dia orang tak pernah tengok gameplay si GX lah. Tak lah, yang sebelum-sebelum ni punya ni kan dia orang main tournament ni. Tengah tak tengok langsung dia orang lawan macam mana. Oh, macam ni dia punya push.
Kenapa kau punya katak terbakar, Tat? Ini banyak pula saya punya stream tau.
Blend apa tu yang?
Oh, blend bawang.
Oh.
Gunpowder yang saya nak cukup. Kena ambil cypher.
So round 24 comes up. GX still with a map win at their fingertips. Putting PRX out of commission is a hard ask, but look at his mid take again. PRX play more towards an A side of the map. They don't get involved here.
Aku sakit kaki ya.
Baiklah.
Ini komersial berada di
Apa ini?
Kena marah, ngelak lagi lah.
Weh, go and run ni siapa?
Ayo, open patah pun juga. Aduh, sakitnya sebegini.
Korang kenal ni siapa?
Siapa?
Ya. Ni.
Ada orang apa ni?
Aku.
Entah.
Premier aku.
Oh, ni kau ke? Oh.
Anu betul premier team.
Okay, betul. Bukan tak boleh ada premier team.
Go and run.
Jaga.
Masuk. Free je.
Ada. Ada masuk. What is polling rate?
Jangan mula saya.
Mouse itu boleh diguna.
Pipson of Giant X. Now, that was a very impressive first map. Congratulations on that. I'm curious if you had to change something in your preparation just because PRX's playstyle is a little unique.
I mean, yeah, we switched a little bit the preparation, but not really a preparation. It's more about that we have to be ready mentally to certain things, and we have to understand that we have to expect certain things, and probably we had an idea that we want to stop fire with fire, you know. So if they run us down, we run them back every time, no matter what. Like, and that's kind of, I think the game was really excited because of that for the viewers, because I felt that there were so many fights happening consistently, and yeah, that was pretty much it.
Oh, definitely looking good out there, and let's see how you guys fare on the second map.
Wih, kenapa tak stress?
Don't worry, Pipston. As a viewer of that map, I had an amazing time. But at what point do we stop saying miracle run for GX? At what point are they just that good?
Nah.
When they win champions.
Okay, deal.
I think we're past that point, honestly. Like, I was willing to accept a few teams losing to GX through the regular season. Go, okay, bad day for the other team. Okay, lucky day for GX. But we're well past that point now. I think they've proven themselves. If they can win this series, doubt is gone.
6,000.
Let's take a look at the HyperX reflex moment. It was from pistol round and an ace from something else. Sort of how PaperX is playing.
Yeah, I think they still had some of those brilliant individual moments. He definitely slowed up.
6,670 tak payah lah.
The more interplay really work out for GX, like having those aggressive flashes coming out of the likes of Flickless, who I think had an incredible map. I think you had Ara. It was mentioned on the cast quite regularly that he was put into so many high-value positions with great utility, and that is what made this GX team so special. And even with plays like this, taking over rounds, it wasn't enough.
Well, I think that's what we said about PaperX, right? A lot of their wins have been off individual plays, bailing them out of bad situations, or the initial play working out. And it seemed like GX was ready for either side of that coin.
Yeah, and I can't believe it wasn't a PaperX player that topped the scoreboard. You know, it was on the side of GX. And West Side, I owe you an apology. Mitch, you know, feel free to gloat.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to. This guy, he is unbelievable. I mean, I think he was the top for headshot percentage we always talked about in EMEA, and you got to see it here on fire. But there were rounds where, like, they even sent him into a retake after Steel Garden had gone down, where he ran to site, took fights, and 3 players stayed behind to hold the players coming out of main. They had so much confidence in Westside, retaking by himself, and he made it work.
Yeah, Coach Alexo had some moments there, so I can't wait to see what he had to say ahead of map 2.
Hey guys, Mika back here, and now I'm with Alex of PaperX. Now there's been a running trend of confidence. The boys, they've been talking about it in various interviews, but on this first map, we saw that Giant X was really unafraid to take the fight to PaperX. Did you feel that the confidence of the boys wavered a little bit on this first map?
Yeah, of course. I think we play a little bit scared. Normally we'll be all over the map, but this one we were like forcing ourselves to go into like one bomb side, and I really don't like how we played, so I'm hoping there will be a lot better.
Hope you guys can bring it back on Lotus. Good luck.
Oh, I don't ever remember PaperX feeling scared to go up against a team on the server. But Tom, tell all the fans as to why they shouldn't be worried just yet.
Well, I think Lotus coming up next and Sunset, these are 2 of their best maps within the entirety of the pool. They did have a couple of blips as of recent, but if anything, that kind of fills me with even more confidence coming into this. They've had some trying to fix the little issues, but in terms of compositions, not massive amount of change. What I want to look forward to, though, is the 2 Fade players. I think they're going to play a huge part in this matchup. Cloud, if he's on point, maybe this map can go in their favor. If he's missing, I think they've already lost.
And one other thing is, you heard the conversation from GX about Corrode swapping Flickless over to the Viper for comfort. And you might have looked at that game and said, well, his utility's so good, and his Viper, it wasn't really that great. Here is where you're going to see why Viper's considered Flickless's comfort. He owns on this map, and now coming in with confidence. Hell, we saw GX in the last round play PaperX's style. They ran it down. This is going to be a hard bounce back for PRX.
I disagree. I think this is where PaperX, Uber, and Wire should be able to find an answer.
And we just come off the back of what feels like a masterclass of playing the default comp on us and a symphony of set plays, supportive util. It was impressive to see. Lotus, though, a little less played from GX, and the map that PRX did end up losing to RRQ in that Pacific final. But this is where they feel their bread is buttered. And they're choosing this over the Haven, which is a good map for PRX.
Ultimately, though, PaperX across this year, I believe they're 18-5 on this map. So I think despite losing it in the last couple of outings, I want to feel that that's not indicative of some kind of downtrend. We're sticking to the same comp. GX played this a couple times late in Stage 2, really against only the cream of the crop EMEA teams. They seem to only play this map against some of the best in the game. This one obviously follows that trend. PaperX love this double duelist here. They're pushing out, taking some space, A main early.
Look at this already. B door opened up by GX. They get that mount control.
GX love this play. They love taking C mount, opening door, fighting into B main. Aura has an op, they'll do that as well later, but they are just on the move. They want to get into this A site. West side is anchoring.
Si PRX tuh kan.
This Rapper's going to come from GX, but it's going to take some time to get up from Rumble. In the meantime, Westside has to hold on And the clone catches him out.
Yeah, that's the wrong Yoru, my friend. GX, obviously, as we were saying, they were very fast out of sea. They're all now on this flight.
Kalau masuk
And Paper Rex, they are aware of the
ketiga baru
situation.
saya
Look at the
tengok
way they
balik.
position themselves on the site. Taking space towards heaven is a really nice idea. Jin can even wrap back to its
Belum ada harapan lagi.
Jostler through the smoke. Rabinho pushing up on the stairs. That's Jing out of the picture. Now PRX knocked down to 4. Paranoia comes on through. Something no found Cloud as he attempted to get into the site. And now the challenge towards upper. Ara wins it out, but finds himself alone. And Forsaken will swoop in to give PRX the start they need.
Yeah, they really, I think, inevitably cement themselves the win when they just flip the site, get into heaven. Even Jing, he loses that duel on stairs, a little unfortunate, but ultimately still, they're at a man disadvantage, having to retake with 2 players in heaven for the attackers. Like, PaperX just positionally play that well.
There's a fast rotate coming. PRX know they can't afford to be slowed down by stalled util. That Viper Wall on A, they're just disrespected. They've got to run in a tree. They've got to play with that speed.
Berapa udah?
Player advantage on site. So now, anti-eco again, really active.
Aku try.
Right, really a lot of dynamism here. How do you punish this sort of fast rotate style?
I mean, they can just exploit GX's rotates by drawing them really quickly. Wow, okay, Westside just...
Astaga.
Oh my god, another one shot to
Down to 20. Cloud has to back away though from this fake shell.
Pergi nightmare.
By west side. GX ready to fight into the side as the smoke clears, but something
What a beat.
cleverly picks Ara off with a wider angle.
lagi.
To walk into his crosshairs. 3 for something. PRX, no nonsense on this anti-eco.
On the verge of some real danger, but they are able to win out.
Iya, saya
The
tengok
important
seorang.
duels at the end when GX go for that.
Kami tidak
multiplayer
harapan
swing.
sedang. Kecuali map ketiga kami temankan balik.
They can have a pretty bonus round
Map
now with a
ketiga.
couple of those rifles.
Penyu boleh bawa balik. Kau nak mau?
Ada dah yang.
Some of that early mound.
Ya, boleh bawa ambil.
Ada.
Is always initiated by
Penyu kat
Cloud.
mana dah ni?
Penyu dekat tepi pantai. Kau boleh tem.
And again, if no one's there, push towards B. This is fast
Apalah.
for Rex to get A control.
No seas.
Tapi penyu apa guna? Bukan boleh dia attack.
Same from GX.
Dia boleh bagi telur. Telur kehidupan.
Dia dah buff dia tu. Oh.
Accelerate into A yet again.
Forsaken is solo there.
Telur kehidupan.
Baru je tengok dah mula mati-mati bodoh-bodoh. Ya, malas lah aku tengok balik. Janganlah ya.
Jangan tengok. Sudah dibilang.
Ya, astaga.
I'm gonna need a replay on that. Was that intentional? Hard to say.
Jangan tengok.
Paper Rex had some good util there to try and
Terus ya.
get an advantage fight
Sakit
against the
mata
Yankees.
kalau tengok.
Specifically Westside, there's a prowler in his face.
Belakang.
And if this
Moy.
GX anchoring is moderately successful,
Abang.
there's enough time bought for the entire rest of the team on these
Nasib
fast
saya tak
rotates
boleh
to
kelas.
the main
Betul-betul lah
to help out
hasilnya.
the side.
Tapuk,
Yeah, but
tapuk.
I'm not mad at that. The idea from Paper Rex is
Pasal
just,
mau farm sini
they're
dulu.
pushing with 3
Alang-alang.
players on C again. GX love having 3 players on C. Sit into the site with less players, but tough to do so when the anchor is Westside.
Berat
Where he's
nanang
at
ni,
his
berat
most
nanang.
proficient. It's just Divide going to go ahead and save in this instance.
Look where
Flawless.
these trapwires are.
Berat
Basically, that's
nanang. Dah baik.
Forsaken pushed ahead or pushed towards that Viper wall and got picked off very early. It's such a nice opener from Flickless.
Yeah, I got to see that one on the replay as well.
He just rotates around the pit,
That
right?
was-
Kills the trap player. Dude, I do
Mana dia
not
orang
want
nak
to go up
push?
against Flickless all
Biarlah.
this side, trying to hit these sides.
Dia
man.
seorang kat situ lah. Dia orang 5 orang lah.
But it's either that, or you take a mound fight against 3 GX players, including their Race and Fade. Pick your poison.
I feel like it's so much more common to have that Viper towards the seaside, but comboing it with the Cypher util here. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought something like that happened. And Cloud even gives the supporting haunt. I mean, that's a crazy kill. And the haunt comes in over the top at the perfect time.
The west side of his crosshair set for, the swing around the corner. He felt like there would be a fast swing off that Prowler. He was right.
All right, Paper Rex now onto their full buy. Something just 1 orb away from getting the dimensional drift very early. Has started both this map and Ascent really hot in terms of the kills, in terms of getting the early dimensional drift.
This looks like much more of a default defense side setup for GX.
And now it looks like Paper Rex, they want to make some sound here
Ada
towards
satu
A,
bulan
and
lagi
then something can
lepas
just teleport
sudah
over.
season pass.
Thought maybe they were going to try to bring him over towards that seaside to get the orb. They had mound control.
Something just did not like the prospect of being dug out of rubble there. So opted to leave instead. Going to work this rubble, re-clear it slowly. The horn into that B-side reveal Ara.
This time, obviously set up adjustment from GX on this defense, having that duo of Westside and Flickless towards C. The other trio, emphasis on A. Aura in a fairly committed position. Grabinho trying his best to support, trying his best to draw attention, and he does. So 1 for 1, but a fast trade from Divide.
Ara getting his
push.
crossing to that position, but blink and you'll miss it, folks. GX get hammered. They're over with that baby door direction. Divide with 3 already. Westside doesn't have a lot of business, I think, being anywhere near the B-sides.
He is shredding them apart, and off all that distraction, you just had Patman, Forsaken, kind of biding their time towards B main to take the perfect moment to swing out, get a kill, get the plant.
How deep do you think the playbook for GX is on a map like this, as opposed to their
Oh, sebab Batman main Sweat, patutlah dorang memenang.
Compared to some of the others like Ascent, especially Sunset, where it feels like they have an infinite
Sova.
amount of set plays. I don't think they have that same depth on Lotus. The map has been okay for them. It's been mostly
Jauh-jauh. Dia lah dia.
close in win, close
Nanti
enough
miskin.
in their losses, but
Ah.
like those other
See?
maps, I don't think they
Tak
have
baik.
plays to
Iyalah dia.
In EMEA,
Stres lah.
Kenapa emosi sama ni?
Dia tak boleh menang. Dia tahu dia tak boleh menang. Tapi dia nak push juga cari.
EMEA team's gone off the boil on this map a little bit. Especially Fnatic used to always prefer to go over to that map, but they have not really touched it.
Ikut ada crocodile lagi, nanti saya bawa lah crocodile.
They love playing it.
They
All right.
probably have played as many Lotus maps themselves
Alah,
as have
tapi
been
kena
played
tunggu
entirely in
omenis
EMEA.
pula.
Now GX are back to playing triple on the C. Grabinho pressed up very far forward, ready with that paranoia. 1 for 1 Forsaken, happy enough to just teleport away after the kill.
They had to know there was going to be a mouth fight brewing here, PRX, if they've seen the tape. Now, of course, see the exchange of smokes. That one mate's going to be renewed by Grabinho. He is insisting on maintaining the control of this part of the map. PRX are going to have to allow.
No.
B pivot? Yeah, work towards this B main off the Prowler. Can show some presence in different areas of the map, something in a position where maybe he could catch off some kind of rotate or at least just work some space towards A.
Oh, Cloud! Unreal.
Serius lah.
For the timing, he was right.
Serius lah weh. Ada asap good.
Has this dimensional drift for a late round.
Cheating.
GX have pivoted 2 players towards this
Serius
side,
lah.
which is seeming like the right call.
How quickly Cloud rotated off B. Do we need to be here now for this anchoring attempt? Grabinho does not have a paranoia to work with, and this is a dimensional drift that will allow something to pave the way. Cloud a little bit low after that exchange with Patman earlier. There's a clone scene. Here come PRX ready to throw down, get their hands dirty on the site, but the rotates are coming in. Westside already going to set up here on the in waterfall, and something wasn't quite ready for it. Swings a little bit wider than he was ready to account for, and Divine now has to get it done. Finds Cloud, Steel Garden to give him the edge. Doggedly defending that spike location, and this will slow things up for the retake. Flickless and Westside hold an approximation of a crossfire for the time being. Once those weapons return, they'll be ready, and Flickless is there. PRX have to hand over the second round, as even the Steel Garden is not enough.
Respect the usage though from Divine. Awkward little moment, something all good. GX go 1 for 1 on the early C.
Kita ni something.
Moment in the round, obviously, like just some random spam from Patman onto a commonly held angle, but then the Tracers are spotted.
I mean,
out of the Vandal.
They started shooting at the same time.
Sangatlah kau hold angle.
To the Tracers and just
Sakit jiwa
thinking at the same timing as Divine.
Dah friend lah kot. Pergilah belakang-belakang sikit.
Prowess on A on full display already. Will be populating the C-side, and we might see a rubble fight instead from GX now with their raise and fade over here. There's the haunt.
Teleport across from Forsaken. Towards that door. GX pivoting the setup. Just kind of bouncing, ping-ponging west side back and forth from that A site to the C site to keep PaperX guessing, who are fully invested into this round. Would love to get that showstopper access for
Something. Okay. Okay, something that's good.
Something on display.
Kata aku mau tengok POV dah.
Now, get a weapon upgrade for himself, going to baby door. We'll have some backup that might pivot towards a B here from that. Flickless is going to be the one that has to stand tall in the face of this level of pressure. Steps up, knows it's coming, and try and take matters into his own hands, but something still has the Guardian and still
Let's do something. Kau dengan Jazz kau punya ni. Hey.
On the way over to A. All right, little bit of a TDM round there, felt like. What was that first shot, though? Stunner from back bubble.
Oh,
wow. I mean, the jiggle to bait the shot, then swings a bit wider, instant tap.
tadi ya, saya lupa.
Yeah, he's still a little different. Holy.
Oh,
this is right.
Ole.
4-2.
Ole.
That time, yeah, no aggressive mound presence. PRX didn't actually see the raise, I think, off the rip, so weren't sure. But there was no explosive fight at rubble like we thought there might have been.
And that was a super important round in terms of the economy. Both sides were quite low, but now PaperX with an opportunity to really stabilize if they get a clean anti-eco. But GX want to get in quick. West side 1-for-1. Backside.
Yes.
This time, he
doesn't shoot through the Prowler. I killed G.
That's a wrap.
You got this.
PRX go very aggressive. They have a chance here to really just stack up an important 5th round for themselves. Gravino but Lane going to take that door top. Ara joining him in mounds. Narcos out there that does confirm the 2 players' presence. And they know full well that Razor Vine is going to be in their way. Divide decides to step ahead of it though and get this one out of the way nice and quick.
Something
Patman would love to get another kill here to get close to their ultimates. Obviously, GX for this buy round have 4 5 ults ready to go. PaperX at the moment have just been having their, just installing their will on that. They are taking space everywhere, pretty much any time they want. Moderate amount of success for GX with the mound fights, but that is about it. Outside of that,
yeah, itu sebab aku tanya.
3 rounds in a row they've
Europe ni Colgate mahal ke?
So they're now leaving West
Air
Side solo on C as opposed to on A. Are we going to have a fast hit towards B here behind this showstopper?
certainly could be the case. Prowler going to go right through main. Showstopper in. Jing blinded up in a lot of trouble. Doesn't know what the hell is going on, but something able to catch out Flickless.
Nightfall pretty important here. It's going to be a showstopper now coming from GX. Needs to get back in, and it goes 1-for-1. Trade of raises. Beautifully done by Gravino. Something out there on the side. Does get picked off. The Nightfall for Cloud helping.
3 kelas jabakan dalam ada Gardener.
Yeah, now they know that Patman is just that lone hanging player towards B, trying to cause some distraction with the Prowler. Forsaken out wide, wants to jump, try to bait out some kind of shot.
Devi's got the op here. He can post. This is still dangerous.
And Beastmaster.
Wow, it's in the corner.
Yeah.
No, they found him. Now there should be a swing here. Yep, Gravino looks to try and take the fight from Baby Door with Divide. Quick peek, gets back to safety. Little did he know. Gravino into a triple face.
Gravino did work himself into a good position there, to be fair, just couldn't connect the shot. Now it's all on West Side. Make his way through Heaven.
Let's drop himself down, take the fight, taking the first to go. He has a feeling for the fight from that corner and chunks him.
Unfortunately, just has no util to work with. Even a cage could be nice here. Just temporarily throw in front of tree.
BRX is trying to make sure this doesn't get isolated off, and Devai is ready with the ult. Nicely done. Devai opens things up. Cloud out of that position behind the box near Baby Door.
Ini barulah Devai.
Sentinel, I think on Lotus in particular, is just so strong at the moment. Trades going through off that showstopper. PaperX is doing a great job slowing the game down there, pivoting away.
Yeah,
it's really feeling like PaperX are just a cut above on this map. They're so experienced on it. Lower in the pool for GX. It seems like they made the right decision in terms of the map pick ban from Alex here.
And in GX's defense, a lot of these early rounds for PRX, they have not tried to apply full pressure to Rubble. Haven't tried to run out there since like the first couple rounds of the game. So as soon as West Side has actually been moved over to the C site, PRX have tried to work around a little bit more. Notice that there's actually not 3 players trying to take that space from them. Gravino, I think, on one occasion, tried to, you know, keep that one-way going, stand his ground there. There was a bit more of an all-in engagement. But in general, PRX are able to hit his slightly weaker held sites. And then that big hit on B behind the showstopper behind the Nightfall. It was messy, and they were still able to extract themselves and pivot over to A.
GX
have had a lot of success on this map. It has come from being able to consistently keep the off in Aura's hands and to just control part of the map. He really hasn't had a lot of chances with it, and when he did, he got deleted by something. One tap, right? So dude, even at that, such an important piece of the success that they have had here is not a factor.
It was so big against Sentinels, right? Once they started to, they lost 6 rounds, I think, at the start of Haven. Then they got Aura going, and then it was Curtis.
Oh, ayah cakap laptop dah boleh on. Ayah hantar repair ni. Ayah kan?
But yeah, he is dealt with. That's crazy.
Yeah, easily handled that. It's time for Util, a big problem. Something willing to stand and fight. Remember, this is a GX Sheriff Eco round, and Flickless is commanding attention on the site. Divide, very little to do here. Smoked off it entirely. Still has a spike to hand, at the very least can have a crack at this. The money's in a fine place for PRX to get a bit experimental. Maybe he can be rewarded with some patience here on this look towards C-Link.
GX have recovered the guns. Flickless knows that he should not be giving anything to Devi. Wall is up so he can reposition towards sight. That is such a funny little adjustment that works out, just putting the trip higher than the Prowler, but it still catches a player on entry. That is really sick.
Yeah, in theory, PRX have a ton to deal with that, right? They have the Prowler. Of course, they have the Yoru clone that can tease it out. Nicely done. I mean, Jing had nowhere to go, and he needed to get into Baby Door with that judge. The perfect way to shut him down. So it's been Devi and something, though, really have put out strong performances, and both of them have made use of the op at times, or the Guardian, and made it look like an op.
Now, does Devi dare use the Steel Garden he's about to get? He used it in the 1v2, but yeah, no, I think he's going to probably die first, sadly. Or just walks in, takes the timing, gets the free kill, gets the defuse, and GX. The Thrifties are what honestly propelled them back into the game on set. Though, that being said, the score was much closer throughout that entire game. It was not nearly as dominant for Paper Rex. Yep, and there's that.
Boleh masuk macam tu, wey.
And then just floods right back in with Westside. There's multiple players coming through Baby Door. Pretty rapid from GX to convert that.
And that's a great place to fight with Sheriff.
Good
job. Within your effective range, it's in your wheelhouse. Great MasterCard Thrifty. One of many from GX we've seen over this series.
Just mentioned it, but Aura was able to recover that op with the kill on Devi at the end there. He was still carrying that, so we'll see if that can be crucial to them getting back in the game. They love to fight for Mount here, then open door and have Aura already on the angle towards B main. Yeah, and that is going to be the case, but you know, no one really ready to fight. Something is making all the distraction towards B right now.
A pinch on the B here from Upper could be interesting. Something! Okay, as the game crash out of there. It's going to be Aura opening up the account. Jing was found first. Op in the hands of Aura is always a dangerous prospect. But with the Sheriff, Gravino can't find his way out of the corner. The Steel Garden definitely getting its value here. West side though, and Aura still able to populate the site. And as soon as he got the Phantom back in hand, he put it to work to the tune of 2 kills.
And Westside saves Aura's life there, guaranteed.
Weird angle the Cloud's on. It's going to be hard for Devi to dig him out.
Yeah, much like this last round. GX don't want to give anything to Devi in this situation now that they've got the advantage. But it is giving opportunity for something to just flank all the way through spawn.
He's making the right choice here. Going
Keep main OP ni, Devi ni.
And why would he have any sense for the timing? This is crazy.
Pelik-pelik lah korang.
Back to rubble. The fact that he's got here is pretty absurd. And Westside is watching for it anyway, Wyatt.
GX just adjusted their setup at the perfect moment. And now it'll just simply be on Devi to save. These B-holds have been pretty standout from GX.
Devi makes a choice in the previous round, Wyatt, to try and plant, to try and win in a 1v3 and not save that op. He hands it over to Aura, who uses it to open up and smash Jing as he tries to fast play onto B. Maybe regretting that somewhat.
And it did, yeah, that play towards C-Mount, yeah, it does end up working. The classic from GX. They're on that constant, especially when Aura has the op and can just post up main through the door. Gets that free catch. It's on the replay. So, yeah, GX do this constantly. And Jing was ready for the angle. He swung out on it, but going up against it. Oh, Westside comes up so huge to save Aura there. And then they just maneuver that setup a little bit differently so they can actually cover that flank small. So much time had expired that they had to have a sense that something could be on some kind of really big wrap around the map like that.
So at first it's a MasterCard Thrifty where the Sheriff seen on the B side.
Itu dekat samping, mungkin dia
Now
nak.
the Razorvine to get to within 2 rounds here.
Paper Rex are so heavily invested into this round. If GX take it here, they'll be on a bad vibe Paper Rex that last round. A real shot at actually bringing this back to 6.
They don't want to deal with this mound fight this time. PRX instead head over towards A, always looking towards West Side site.
Oh my god, this guy is just something else. You just really don't want to be headed towards West Side site.
Serius ah.
Home?
Kecil tu je dia tengok. Siap.
You hit his side.
Alright, Flickless here, Razorvine blooming in front of him. No success with spam through that cyber cage. West Side wants to get active on the side. He walks though up on Jing, who this time is ready to throw down into the back of the side. Jing goes and out to upper. Full side control for PRX. Giant X have Aura and Cloud.
Flank dah tak tengok ni. Flank dah tak tengok.
And those anchors who have typically been an absolute wall, just depleted by Paper Rex on a very round for their money. Aura into this 1 versus 3.
Sikit tak apa, dah baik
He
sedih.
has a ton of cash. He can go for play. Why not? Just send it.
Time is short. The harder he can make this next round for PRX, the better.
Sakitnya hati tengok dia.
Allah.
Hey, little consolation prize. You will take it. Get out of the round.
Astaghfirullahalazim.
Investment there.
GX, or rather, sorry, you know, when they were anchoring that site, Jing did a great job on the entry here. Gets that 1v1, and then as soon as he hears the teleport, realizes that it was Gravino getting into backside, swings before he even gets out of that. That was just a heads up play.
GX in the 2v4 end up taking 3 players though. Make it expensive.
Aduh, gunpowder kena ada acid.
Panas, bah panas macam ni.
Rendam bilik.
Panas tengok.
Instant sees with the nade this time.
Oh, Ninda.
Not gonna catch the flash is amazing. And Jing collects all 3.
PRX knew exactly what they were walking into this time.
Fastest round I've ever seen in Valorant.
Shit.
5 seconds.
Very no nonsense stuff. This time PRX meet GX head on. Love to see that.
What was the clock on that? Genuinely, was that
ask me.
5 seconds? 6 seconds?
We're about to see. All right, while we do see this again, we're going to go quick.
Good shit, first half.
Of Lotus.
Oh.
Let's go.
Betul? Beli 50-60 setakat untuk main Valorant, betul?
Kena tengok TV kan?
So cute. Guys, look at my little hands. Guys, look over there. Did you see that? Right there.
I regretted booking post-renovation cleaning services. Here's why. First of all, the team came with all these fancy cleaning equipment and tools. Literally never seen so many pieces of cloths and solutions in my life. Okay, I get it. I'm super unprepared and totally unequipped to do any cleaning. Next, they cleaned every corner of my house, including places that I would have missed out, like the inside of my carpentry.
On this particular occasion, one player The side of GX been impressive, but it's Divine that we're watching, who's got the op in his hands a couple times. You mentioned Riot, how that sort of, you know, attack side Senti with the op in hands on Lotus has been pretty darn impactful. He is vomiting damage here for that spend.
Yeah, the money spent.
Gonna have to be enough.
Dealt with the report. Also looks pretty good when you get the operator for free. Instant seized with a nade this time. Not gonna catch the flash. It's amazing. And Jing collects all. Divide.
And that last round was 6 seconds of Valorant.
That is the best round I've ever seen. It very well may be.
Yep. And I guess the last chance for GX to show the proactive defense looks. They just threw themselves at PRX. PRX now, potentially more confident, ready to take those kind of fights. We've got Jing and Divine with sheriffs to hand here.
All of GX looking like they're just ready to go at this B site. Stacked up with 4 players. Cloud has 1 Prowler, 1 Haunt.
No, masuk macam tu jadi.
So full retake protocols in effect now for PRX. GX get up on this B side.
Luckily something doesn't actually take that teleport. Just walking down out of A. Westside is going to hear all of this. If he plays it patiently, he might be able to max out everybody.
They are not checking for this all the time.
Hey.
Bro, he's down at 4. Able to take the fight with some right clicks, but once again, PRX disrupted as they're trying to set up defensively.
How many late round situations have we seen Deviant like this? And yet somehow he's still putting up crazy numbers, but he's in unwinnable spots.
Not this time. Forsaken at 4 with pressure and shots through the smoke. Giant Eggs, what a start here. Working the map. And leaving that insert back towards the B main flood. Beautifully done by Westside.
That is so well played. Choose all the steps, patient, picks the perfect timing. PaperX is just not suspecting there would be someone waiting outside to see whatsoever.
Translation, good.
Westside now up to 14 kills, having hell of a series at the moment.
So again, GX still want to try and throw curveballs, no matter what side of the map they're on. PRX pretty serious about this A side control. See some health bars affected there as they're decayed briefly by that Viper wall that GX are going to play off.
GX hear a lot of noise towards A, so they want to leave. Why not go elsewhere? And PaperX, they're saying, hey, we made a lot of noise, they're probably going to leave. Let's go to the other side of the map.
They're pinging the expected location of the Arcaros there as well, up on the wall. Devi had made use of that already by the looks.
PaperX are very ready for this. They knew what GX were going to do.
Ara trying to make a swing. It's risky business trying to post up at that angle, and something's going to punish him now. The paint shells catch Westside. By the heels, he tries to score quickly, climb up Paranoia and up the Quickness is able to bail him out. And now the push through the side.
Rampik.
Feed themselves into the wood chipper. Grabinho.
Semua tengok satu direction.
Semua tengok sana. Semua tengok sen.
To continue that sequence of kills. They just couldn't resist. They had to.
Tak payahlah.
Maybe they could have waited, tried
Nah,
to
semua tengok sana.
rotate. I mean, Alex he's livid. Yep. He is livid as to why they tried to go that fast.
It's that
they're out of sync with their paranoia with Forsaken coming out of B.
Oh, the paranoia was much earlier onto Cloud. It's that element of rascality in PRX that they can't deny. It takes a wheel for them and runs them headlong into a brick wall.
A very quick take of A now from GX, already working their way into tree, which is being smoked off, but it's Grabinho who's gotten into stairs. Might catch Forsaken on the rotate.
Forsaken kena tangkap.
Forsaken.
Thought he was clever getting up on the corner, but Grabinho was far further forward.
Dah tahu kok diorang ni push. Pelik lah bro.
Able to take that fight, and Jing knew he had the tark. He knows discretion, the better part of Ella now. The pressure is on. What a correction!
Jing, let's go Jing.
Back of the site, and GX had to get Flickless and Westside up here to wrest it out of his grip.
And what have they got to do with absolutely no tools?
Okay, kau punya.
Effort to support Jing, who really does it all. The weapons for GX just not good enough, and the aim from Jing is really sickening.
But Grabinho got
Tahu dah game dia orang macam mana.
Surely that's enough to work with. But the timing's not there. The spacing for GX as they try and capitalize. They only get the 1 kill off it.
That first player was a little bit too early. The Sheriff's just not really enough for the trade there either.
Sini ada minyak kan tempat kita nih Ted. Ada minyak kah?
Ada.
Jing quiet, honestly, up until this point. They're on the 10 spot.
Could go for some kind of crazy double satchel, but the showstopper off here. He can get some insane distance if he wants to do it.
Yeah, PRX looking for a delayed rebel fight by the looks.
It's so great. You never see 2 players stacked up there. That is so silly.
There are a lot of things I've never seen until PRX do them.
Exit pun tak dapat.
Masuk lari tinggal macam tu.
Sitting
Oh.
up in tree. Paranoia drawn out. Now as the door opens, the Grabino's hoping to get ahead.
Jing on the road.
Alah, masuk balik.
GX commit. They're still staring down the barrel of this showstopper.
Oh, thought he had a timing, but Grabino has
cover. And now Jing is just solo, all alone.
Done this again. Done this before. He gets chomped on. Paranoid, Prowler out, and still something controls that high ground. He's gonna rip the showstopper. Get away in time. This time, Jing relies on his teammates for success, and that's also solid strategy. West side to the back of the side, it's something fell. Patman around the corner, sees in place, and West side is an easy target. A tasty.
Allah, risaunya aku tu.
That was unbroken by GX. I believe that's how something was able to get the kill from Heaven. Arrived just on time, but would have been, I think, maybe a little too late. If this Haunt didn't come in, he wouldn't have been able to support, but look at this.
And Jing also just creates space for that showstop. Look at Robinho, immediately trying to get away. No shots, correct hit. Let's go! Holy shit, man! Good job! Great flood there by PRX, something so important from upper there.
That was...
Nak happy ke nak apa something.
That piece of utility offered something to support Jing, who was overwhelmed. And it sent GX reeling onto this
So scary lah you
tough
guys
little
play
half
like this.
five. Bucky involved, even West Side opportunity, but shots not connecting.
It's a very GX-coded start to the round for PRX. Determined mount control.
Oh, kita boleh ambil air macam collect water juga ke exit ni.
Yes.
Ni yes mana ni?
The iconic Bucky skin will be shut down. Divide for 4.
Divide is hitting on this map, and it's just feeling quite effortless, honestly.
Positive.
Rex on this map, they are just certainly cut above. And individually, with Divide heating up, Jing heating up, looking even more dangerous than they were on Ascent.
And insane as these moments have been from GX, they're too few and they're too far between to start to challenge.
So scary.
On the scoreboard.
Politik area contohnya apa?
GX is trying to keep it simple with this brawl on A, but Paper Rex is there to fight.
Ara has to go down there. Nothing he could really do. Seized in place by the looks of things. And there's something. Here's PRX now. This is where their bread is buttered.
Tengok, saya dari tadi nak tengok.
Itu yang Alex ulang kasih finish,
relentlessness, just that willingness to fight. Full brawl in A standard, you get your C's, you get your nade back rubble, so even though R is able to capitalize with Jing's really quick push for those double satchels and catching him, immediately just traded out, post-mortem by the nade. And look at the way that Paper Rex, just all the rest of the players are swinging together.
One more.
Themselves on GX. There was a rubble fight that followed a mound fight. Both successful for PRX, playing up on the defense side. They're going to go for a mound variation here. There'll be nothing to see for them, but maybe a fast flank opportunity.
Wait, go.
Hey, but Paper Rex have mapped elsewhere.
You what?
Very confident with that swing, I would say. Something in theory had him covered, but the Rose was not enough to guarantee success there.
What? Serious or something? Kau dah nampak dah dia punya
After another.
Prowler tu berlari-lari.
It feels like they really wanted to get this one over with fast, but the eagerness to do so has extended us by at least one more round.
Yeah, proving confidence is the polite way of putting it there for PRX.
And I get it. Divide got a lot of kills, doesn't have a lot of deaths.
Stress, Sauko. Aku sedang tengok dalam main dulu.
Alright, some breathing room here for GX, but as the finisher identified, 7 rounds, from here on out need to be won by GX.
And at some point, it's going to be 5 ults for Paper Rex. Yes. So it's going to be tough to overcome the fact that they're going to need all those rounds. I'll tell you that.
So again, PRX just flip-flopping this time. It was a bit more aggressive over towards Rubble side. No one actually in the C side at all. Does Grabinho opt to walk up on this? No, Paranoia. He thinks the GX are a bit faster than they actually are. Razorvine's canvassing the ground. This will slow things up slightly, but already in the back of the side.
Paper Rex are more than happy to play this for some kind of retake of blood. All right, 1-for-1 on the important ults. Actually, it's the dimensional drift in very early. Something spawning up multiple players within that Viper's.
Kau semua di luar. Dia bagi tahu bahaya.
Okay, west side inside the pit. It's a clone that he ends up taking contact against. Buddy thrown in. GX just keeping a toe in the pit to keep it standing, of course. That's been set in place by Flickless.
This is so much pressure from Paper Rex. GX have not for any moment felt comfortable enough to try to actually get this spike down. But at this point, they've drawn out enough utility that they can.
The pre-plant pit, though, is always kind of dangerous. It gives PRX time to set up and start spamming in. Ara has fallen.
And one more kill for Jing will result in a showstopper. That could be enough to close out this game, bring us to sunset.
Something's had the time now, the freedom to start to swing around. Looks like the box position in C has been smoked out and shut down.
Oh!
Kenapa pusana?
There's no point going any further.
Yeah, that's all she wrote on the round. They need to save those rifles so they can get a full buy into the next. So dimensional drift. Some of the very, very important ults that Paper Rex have access to close out the game. And of course the round converted. Things looking a little bit more realistic for GX. Yeah, but even still, they had to exchange plenty of their own ultimates to get those out. And we're about to have Showstopper Nightfall for PRX. So there's just the cycle, the dance of ultimates.
Guys!
Pointing out that it's a steel guard and a dimensional drift that don't really give them an edge in all of this round.
Let's go, we can do this.
Yeah, what can they do with that pit up, right? I mean, there's just no real way to get back in effectively at any juncture. Now Paper Rex want to call this timeout. Alex wants to get involved so they can close this out. Stop the...
Dia kalau masuk tournament gini boleh bawa rokok tak? Alah. Stress.
I do wonder if this is a round where PRX
Stress main apa saukuk lah sekejap. Ada 30 saat lah boleh sebatang tu. Kalau guna garam tak boleh lah.
And they've been missing GX a lot of the time. GX got to hit a C side there, which had some vice util, but no one.
Oh, sini polluted area pula.
It was 0-1-4 rather with the Omen. Rubinho set up on B.
Kena pergi sana level 30.
Probably not all too good for Paper Rex when we get back into this round. I'm interested to see what Alex has in store for them here.
Forsaken rather on the B side.
How much do they want to commit? There's now a buy from Divide down to... Yeah, they're going to force it up pretty heavily. It'll put Divide in something low. Few lighter armors. Still a competent buy. And Patman ready to just throw that early haunt over towards A, so Paper Rex can brawl for that side of the map. GX, let's see if they try to go all in.
There's a horn across the map. C's though, not quite there. It's Ara getting picked off first though, Forsaken. In position to deal with him as he tried to cross past that rubble corner.
Yeah, just instantly opening that tree door. Entry player for GX removed. And now they have to get their bearings, figure out how to win this out in the 4 versus 5 with 0 ultimates available.
Might see some baby door presence taken up by PRX in a moment. Mindful though is Patman about to push off B main, but there's a shield wall there to detect it.
Yeah, and with that Prowler not getting any spots, no reason for Paper Rex to really adjust here in any way. They can retain these spots on A. They're prepped for B if they need to be as well.
B split coming out. There's that shield wall in play. How will that be handled? Flickless though, and West side. The two players would be terrified to fight as they get into the site early. They get past the shield wall.
Something maybe wanting to go for an aggro play, but couldn't, was delayed. Jing now doubled up though.
Flickless had to wait for that wall to come down. He's now able to sit in main a little bit further. We'll have a plant. There's the TP here for Forsaken. Smoke on Flickless's position now. Attempts to take control. Paranoia comes out, doesn't affect Ravina though. He's tucked here on the corner, wins one. Eventually gets overrun, but Jing elsewhere, picked up by Westside, who followed up Grabinho. Great upper presence here for GX. And the money's not good for PRX, they know it. And now Cloud's starting to bring him down one by one. Something has to limp.
Guys,
The movement into that second kill from Cloud, that was so lovely. And I think the GX did an excellent job playing into heaven there, despite being at that man disadvantage. The paranoia that Cavino threw out was excellent. It connected onto everyone from PaperX that were stacked up there. He gets wide, takes that first engagement, instant swing from Westside to get the second, and he backs up at the right time, just plays around the shorty. That was so well done. Yeah, it's this moment here. Look at that perfect little peek from Westside. And look at that adjustment right back to the sidestep from Cloud. Wow, GX is still in it.
So much map control off that paranoia into upper.
Why are they retaking from here? It doesn't make sense.
Characteristic frustration here is that it's 3 rounds in a row that GX have been able to snatch out from under PRX's nose.
3 chances for PaperX to close this out. Again, back to the old C's with the nade to take this control towards Rubble, which has been really emphasized by PaperX. Many rounds in a row now on this map.
Devi is able to shoulder pick and see if their plays here. It's going to be a frothy push on towards the seaside. Slowed down briefly by the smoke.
It felt like GX are really just keeping it simple, big executes, and that's what has begun to work for them.
Batman one off that Nightfall for retake. Showstopper also there for Jing. So PRX let this first push go through to the keeper. Play that full retake.
They forced Devi all the way out. But can GX really fight for any additional space? No. Look at the status of the utility. It's very low, just a C's and a haunt.
Kau push lagi ada babi. Kau kelakar.
Something to open things up. Ara goes low. Clone there, of course. Complicating things. There it is. Ara taken down. Not the start they're looking for at all. PRX looking for a retake now. Found that showstopper, and it found Flickless in turn. Cloud tucked here by the side, sees Patman go across. Devi might look for a swing off this, but isn't ready for Cloud.
Push it!
Devi!
Nightfall gonna come through here, and Cloud is
Devi!
Fantastic stuff from GX. That was PRX.
Stresnya aku 1 point ni, 1 point woi.
And during crunch time, Cloud has come to life. Cloud's beautiful play there. Didn't work out, but it was kind of cool in the midst of that retake. He threw a haunt over to Waterfall to see if GX can try to spam onto a player.
Hancing siya, hancing.
Just after that happens, PaperX, they make their way back in. Jing gets that great showstopper off.
Cloud has some of the most unreal
repositioning
repositions have reminds me of Scuba, honestly, in the successful rounds for NRG.
Kind of goes back in, gets that perfect kill on Devi. That gets the Nightfall, backs up to use it. Really excellent stuff. I can't believe GX are still in this. And they really have just gone back to basics, just hitting sites, winning out retakes. They're winning them out with man disadvantages as well.
PRX forced into that round to some degree, right?
Miskin dah.
A bit of a jumbled mix of weaponry. They probably.
Aku kalau jadi highlight ni dah botak dah kepala ni.
After Cloud has that Nightfall, and they've been forcing into the last.
Aku dah jadi panda dah.
They're not coming into them with full buys. Buy with just a Sheriff there, some weak armors. The prior round, a lot of lighter armors, Guardians. And again, if they force up into this, well, at this point, the loss bonus is kind of high, so they can afford to buy down a bit.
It's not great.
Not great. You got Sheriffs, just a mix, a smorgasbord of random weapons here. GX full intentions of getting out A, which is the location that PaperX have been most happy to fight for early, as of late, but this time, ultimately pretty free.
There's no C's nade combo as the Fade and Raze both over at B.
Apa dia buat ni?
In the gamble of the right position, but this allows for a faster reflank.
Very fast reflank. 3 players. There is obviously this trip place behind by Westside that'll need to be
dapat lagi dia orang.
unless maybe they want something to just teleport
Bodoh,
across.
apa yang slow dah masuk side dah.
From GX into this very free C site.
Forsaken's mandate strictly do not die. Hold the paranoia until we're ready to try and flood in.
Flickless is in so much danger. There's a player in blue room as well.
Grabino here sees the clone. Now the Viper wall comes up. This is going to allow PRX to get in position, but also GX to defensively set up behind it. Z's comes in. They are decayed down. Easy targets. Patman with the critical utility at the most important moment.
Lagi dia buat belakang tu.
Now the Nightfall comes through onto the side. Cloud here playing through tree. That door's
Come on,
opening.
Jing, come on, Jing, come on, Jing.
Wouldn't
Ada
have
Jing,
heard
ada
it
Jing,
otherwise.
ada Jing.
Toying with him, trying to keep him busy, keep his attention. Catnips away from the fight, and he wins it out.
Let's go!
Oh, yes!
Let's go! Oh my god!
An awkward bite. Two sheriffs, couple of bulldogs in the middle. That nightfall,
Boleh
and
tahan
again,
no kawan-kawan, saya
important
tengok ni.
utility.
God!
GX did not make it easy. Respect for the comeback attempt, but Paper Rex just a cut.
Jadi, Syed, PRX punya ni baju.
Ya.
Okey.
Belum.
Oh, belum. Okey, belum. Okey.
Nak kena tengok duit keluar 100 tu okey ke tak?
Game changers. It's
Ay, busuk lah. Come on.
We're making history. It means so much to us. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
The beauty of gaming is it
Oh,
doesn't
terus
matter.
pula lagu ni.
And as long as I'm good enough, everybody's getting a 4K. I can go as far as I want.
Ada like song.
全世界都会知道我们的厉害。
Kenapa? Macam mana mau ambil acid ni?
I can never play for tournament like this. Bullshit.
Acid dia kena gabung ini dengan ini kan baru dapat acid.
Nah, ini dengan ini tu apa?
Dua item tu baru ni kan dapat
Open
acid.
35L Valorant Limited Edition Game PC. Nak sampai aku beli ah.
Impure acid.
Oh, impure acid.
Daripada apa? Polluted water.
Now the Viper Wall comes up. This is going to allow PRX.
Gabung dengan apa tu yang air apa tu? Filter Dia tak. Dapat impure acid masuk barrel jadi acid.
Bukan dari water tu lah.
Dia water tu kena dirty water yang dekat area yang polluted.
Okey, saya ada. Baru je saya dapat tadi. Saya cuba dulu. Kena masak? Bukan.
Kita masak. Dia guna tempat proses air tu. Yang macam mesin filter tu. Apa? Reverse osmosisnya.
Impure acid, polluted water. Polluted water tu macam mana mau dapat?
Apa gelap yang? Polluted water? Itulah dari tempat yang polluted.
Paper Rex, they hit back on Lotus and they hit.
Kau kena pergi tempat yang ada pollution tu. Baru kau dapat
Yeah.
yang
For GX and
polluted.
Mitch, how are you feeling?
You know what? I said at the start of the series, I want to see a sunset. I'm happy we're going to get to go all the way there. Both teams have really put their best foot forward on that map. They picked it in their last series as well. It is a fitting way to end a close battle.
Okay.
Cope.
Now the Viper Wall comes
Dia
up.
kena ada water pump lah.
Isn't a Cobus to just acknowledge
Dia
that
kena ada water
I nearly
pump.
said David. I'm going to double down with David. That David is one of the best
Yeah.
players we have in the tournament and one of the most consistent too.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he's basically just had an insane match overall, like performing to an incredibly high degree, showing it across different weapons, be it on the attack, the defense, having the operator in hand, and just denying any sort of aggression coming out of the side of GX. This was exactly the sort of response we sort of needed to see, because I think something throughout the last couple of games, including this one, has been fantastic. He needs that sort of second man alongside him, and while in this game, it was definitely Divide.
Yeah, he certainly had it this time. And I think, you know, we come into this map, and the question on my mind is really Paper X. They've just been Paper X'd in a lot of rounds. They've got a taste of their own medicine. Pipson said it on the stage. When they come out and they hit us, they run it down. We're going to do exactly the same back, bring that same energy. It's a dangerous game to play against this squad. It worked on map 1, and would they be able to bounce back? And they most certainly were here. And I think, as you said, David Divide, like, he was very impactful. Not a single opening duel when it came to that operator, but he was pulling out of a lot of bad situations using it.
Well, that's because all of the opening kills pretty much went to the side of GX. 15 opening kills, only winning 7 out of them, and they threw a 5v3. This is where I get worried, because Mitch, if you cleaned all that up, it could have been a 2-0. It might haunt them. It's also their biggest issue before they got good was just throwing these advantages, and I don't like seeing it back on the global stage.
I do think, though, that it's more prevalent here on Lotus than in any other map in their pool, where it's a big map and there's a lot of individual mistakes that are being forced out by their opponents. I don't think it's going to be the same when it comes to a map that they have played, what, 7 times, not including the one that they played here, which they won dominantly over Sentinels on Sunset. So
Polluted water akan dapat guna pump tak kan? Dia nak dapat manually.
Hujan pun boleh. Kalau kau guna hujan
Oh, tempat hujan juga lah. Selain tu,
Paper X is still Paper X.
Yeah, and they sort of take turns, right, to see who shines and who gets to win the round. And for this one in the Verizon
kalau dari air
polluted
area, dia dapat dirty water.
It just happens sometimes where you have a setup, you have a plan, you're trying to get aggressive, you're trying to get into a position where you can fight. A singular flash leaves you all blind, and then moments later, Jing wipes you out in a split second. And this isn't something we've seen like once or twice, maybe every once in a while. This is something we feel like happens every single day, especially when you have a player as talented as Jing.
Yeah, and seeing that level of confidence be re-hit by Paper X, again, going back to the Alex interview where he said they were slow to start up against XLG, but once they found that rhythm, this is a team that snowballs. That's the worry now for GX, because they're now the ones that come in having to bounce back.
I mean, we wanted to see Sunset, we're gonna see Sunset, and this is where, in the beginning of the day, I felt like this is such an even playground for both of these teams. I mean, looking at how close map 1 and 2 has been so far, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a close map 3. But my problem is, Paper X are not getting out Paper X as they were on map 1, you know. I don't think they're scared to play anymore, and that's when they're the scariest.
Yeah, for sure, and I think as well, this has been a map for a very long time now that is incredibly comfortable. The composition that they like to run with the Sage in the mix, where you're going to see these like cool little set plays that are based around the wall, but then also having just a load of potential delay. They can lock off a lot of angles as well, the way that they play it. And I think the differences in these comps is what makes it very interesting for me. It's that Sage facing off, I guess, in essence, against the Breach. It's like, those are the two that are missing, I guess. And I think that the way that I look at the Breach is Flickless is fantastic at putting players into position, especially Arrow when he's going for these aggro plays. I think that on the other side of things, sometimes that is a little bit more reliant on Jing, but they do the same thing with the Sage wall. Like, they put him in spots that you go, well, Jing shouldn't be there, but he is because of the way that they set him up in that manner.
Yeah, and on the other side, for Paper X, playing with the Sage, not having like a traditional Sentinel to back you up, it does leave you with some gaps, potentially, depending on what else you bring, in terms of that defense and stopping power. But you combine the Sage with the Viper as well that they're bringing to bear, and they can certainly have no shortage of it on the defense. The problem is on the attack, the occasional gap being left open behind. I think that's something that GX will look to exploit when we've already seen that aggressive face come out of them. And I think backing up your point as well, Flickless coming into today, he is taking out smoke.
Traded for the res, sure. But then from there, in the site, I mean west side, just deletes both angles. He is in outrageous form at the moment.
With how good the supportive utility was, some of the flashes on retakes won them the rounds. They were the difference makers, and I think that's going to carry through to the Breach here.
Yeah, I think as well, then putting that focus on Westside. He's been fantastic in these first 2 maps. I think when you have this, especially on the defensive start that Giant X will have, you're going to have one side of the map that's very proactive, looking for fights, looking to take space. The other side of the map is Westside. If he gets shut down in this game, I think they're really going to struggle because especially that attack side start coming out of PaperX is going to be rapid.
Well, the interesting thing is PaperX, they performed better, at least in their last matchup. They were dominant when it came to that defensive side. They didn't see much of their attack. But GX also fielding a better attack side. So in that second half, we get to see sort of the strongest parts of both. And Ara, in terms of opening duels, he should be dominating.
Well, this is it. The winner will be going straight to playoffs. Uber and Wire, let's find out who that's going to be.
What a map for a decider in this series as well. Sunset floated by both teams, as neither probably felt the need to be picking it here. But for GX, it's been one of their best maps, and we already got to see it on Parade against Sentinels, and they smoked them. That was not a close game.
This is the map where GX have the most depth in their strat book, which is really a talking point from Lotus. And I would say that's very similar for PaperX. They have a number of crazy things they like to throw out there with this Sage, which they liked before Sage was even buffed. So it's just very convenient for them.
They rolled Chila Gaming on this too. Both teams have already shown their Sunset as champions. Will that tape matter? Was there enough time to start to integrate an understanding of how one another play?
Something does play crazy over here. By the way, as he just shuts down the flank with some very smooth taps. And Pat nice. Too.
Yep, I'm gonna get involved. Don't leave me out.
One ghost headshot, please. And it's down to 2 GX players, one of which is now one way in spawn, the other of which is staring down 2 players over at Link. Long range.
Tak payah kau berdiri, baru ikut round sial.
He has been absolutely lethal on pistol rounds today.
I mean, he exits that last map with 275 ACS. He's 5-2, first kill, first death. But what's even crazier to me statistically is that PRX, they go down 4v5, what, 15 times?
Yeah,
they
15
win
times.
8 of those rounds. They convert a player disadvantage 8 out of 15 times. That's insane. That is an insane
what happens
conversion.
when they get the first kill?
They are more likely to win the round if they lose the first player, Wyatt.
All right. All classics here for GX, who already honestly have just impressed me by taking a map off PRX, keeping it close on the second. To just go back to the story of this game. Oh my god. Well, let's... Alright, well, I was going to wait a second depending on what
Kau second kat atas duduk tengok je.
just seeing GX, who finished 7th, 8th kickoff, 9th, 10th stage 1, and are taking it to the defending champions in PaperX, the best team in the world right now. What an ascension for this team over the last few months.
What they changed? They just added some rookies to their roster. This round, of course, it's a very lightly held B side, and the Cypher setup is circumvented only the cost of 1 player, so it ends up being fairly clean. Look there for PRX, heading into a bonus that is got a couple Vandals in the mix. Pretty well bored up, all things considered.
Obviously, for as talented as this newcomer team of GX has been, PaperX, they're experienced, they're rising to the occasion. Now they just need to close this out on Sunset. Top of the pool for either side. First buy now for GX, and this doesn't really look like much of a bonus buy for PaperX, I'll tell you that. They have 4 upgraded fully rifles.
It feels like the business socks are on this map.
West side, he's just playing with some fun little kill trips over there on B, by the way.
A lesson GX learned against Sentinels, and the pips and drilled into them in that halftime we heard is that do not simply pay for flood retakes. Try and get ahead of the game. Re-clear aggressively here on defense. That's going to have to be the game plan. Grabinho does not want to fight A on the corner. Instead, just falls back behind the smoke.
Ruthless adjusting position into sight. Doesn't want to get denied at Link. Wants to be able to support his teammate in Grabinho.
Oh, this aftershock pretty dirty. Jing here low after whatever transpired there. And we got Flickless back on an initiator. Insane util from him.
Wow, the re-clear onto Patman. He is immediately removed from the server. How do PaperX react?
You take your foot off the gas against this team, they're going to re-clear.
What the fuck are you doing?
They're going in 2s and 3s. They control that A side there as PRX just... They let go of the tension a little bit.
30
Give GX a way to tempo their way into the round.
It was a cool attempt at that refight with Forsaken teleporting across onto the box, and then you get that swing from Devi timed with it. But the duo from GX, Flickless and Grabinho, refused to miss a shot in that situation.
It always feels like there's a re-clear happening elsewhere behind the stall util. On one
Saya dah jaga spike tu. Sini lah kau.
Aftershock to slow PRX down as they try to go to link side.
I really liked all of the decisions, honestly, that Flickless was making throughout that entire situation. From just before we saw the aftershock from Jing, he pushes all the way through Link into sight to try to beat that timing so he can support Grabinho. They're not just playing for some kind of retake or taking a safe line. No, he doubles up and then they fight into it. Beautiful.
But Grabinho does not fight.
Ego ba.
First contact. He backs off with that dark cover, gives himself the space to double up with one of his teammates and slow the game down a little bit. Then they can be the ones that take the initiative.
Right now, Paper Rex, they are bought down into this round. Less than 1K credits every single player on their squad. West side with the deep cam into B main, so they can prod at that a little bit, but then just have that for later in the round if necessary. But probably won't survive till later in the round. Jing wants to break that. ASAP trap play activated.
Try and play ahead of this fault line here, but very quickly PRX get back. That's a thrust for GX that is avoided.
A good nade thrown there from Jing just to deactivate any acceleration that GX might have had in store for them with that trap play, double stun, relabel fault line. So it's nice that Paper X are able to bait out so much utility early.
GX very quickly now just assemble behind that top mid smoke, ready for a fight.
I mean, look at this position by Westside over on B, by the way. He is just hard committed to holding this angle in main. That is some bold stuff. He has the cage to play off of.
Are they going to re-clear B main again? They thought about it. Ara definitely thought about it. Aldrin come in though, with that he's dealt with now.
Into the
Back
combo
a
chipset
little bit and leave Ara close to the door.
Ini orang pun dah mati.
The combo chipset can be solved for a
Paper
large
X have to be
number
worried
of
about getting
enemies.
stunned here, but they baited it out.
Okay, Jing no unaffected by the fault line. Ara realizes this, so doesn't fully swing around that corner. Instead leaves it up to West side. Gotta be recovered here. Jing gets tucked in on the side. That's where the flash comes from, though, and something does get across. Flickless is going to be busy on this left side of the site, and there was a Sage Wall to cover the market push. PRX have kind of accounted for everything here. Very meticulous hit onto the side, and Grabinho has very little to see with the remnants of the wall in his way.
Cloud has to be careful about corners.
Nice, nice. Davai kau memang ngam lah kau main stage.
Cloud, they win those crucial backside fights as well. Swings from Jing, something on opposite sides, a pillar. And I think they did a good job earlier in the round of getting so much of that defensive stall util out. Aura doesn't have a relay bolt for main there. They mostly dodge out that second fault line that cycles back up as well.
You can see the tendency for GX. As PRX Aldron out, Ara is walking forward, maybe to re-clear lobby with West side. They're always looking to fill that space with some form of proactivity.
Still a buy for GX, however, but a necessary round win when you took into account the economy for Paper X.
Secret.
The door coming down, shot at.
Now with that dark cover thrown top right mid by Forsaken, certainly implying that there's an expectation for Paper X to work up mid, and you can see that that's resulted without having to pick up Boba. But that is all just, you know, sort of minor distraction laid as Paper X intend on going towards A.
Aldrin to clear this corner, respecting how far GX are pushed. Ara almost made that one-way work against him. Patman ultimately couldn't punish meaningfully. Grabinho takes a hit off that. PRX decide to go elsewhere. Smoke to top mid. This one not really prepared for by GX. They'll have a crossfire though.
And now a good thing for Paper X is that they're drawing Flickless around the map with that utility. Isn't posted up in a great spot to support the anchors on B main right now. Something with that ultimate through. Does it get a tag? No, just out the way is Cloud. Oh, doesn't dodge the second.
Forsaken also lit up there as Flickless is able to take him out of the game early. Patman trying to get quickly up from market, and he does. Into Boba. Showstopper on site. It's a bit wayward, but Dubai is there to deliver. Now Cloud tucked in that corner. Ara on a late reflank here. There's an opportunity here. If he can disrupt the
oh, yes.
Get loose. Ara ready to fight for it now.
Pick dua orang.
Time.
So Jing handles him.
10 seconds left.
Low HP is Cloud, backside left alone. What is the maneuver?
Money's pretty bad.
Back up in just a few seconds.
Yes.
19 points of health for Cloud.
I mean, surely you go for the 1 versus 2, right? Even with such low HP.
You can get heads turned away with this recon. Not the opportunity. I think he realizes they're tucked in the corner on a clean double swing from PRX.
Dua-dua kat situ.
3 rounds ahead.
They know Cloud is just so weak. Time to run at him, double face. There's no way he wins out both. Flickless does, get back to that site at a reasonable pace. I mean, that's
this stage utility is going to be a pain.
Man, Aura rushes it just a little bit at the end there. If he waits fully for that spike to be recovered, maybe someone to run towards it, then relay, waste a little bit more time.
Push jauh sikit
I don't know if it catches on the Jing, but either way, he still loses that duel. Again, GX getting busy behind that one-way A side.
Jangan buat macam ni.
Spicy wall here, Wyatt. It's just for top mid.
Patman on this map has a number of different walls that he will be throwing out throughout the game that constantly keep you guessing as to the intentions of Paper Rex.
Just gives them that top mid smoke, quote unquote, on demand.
Poison's off.
It can imply a lot, draw players towards mid off the extremity.
And in this instance, it gives them the opportunity to fight towards that right side.
Look at this though, GX re-clearing A main now. Tons of info for them, and a chance to threaten the Tiles player.
Those skill trips immediately. Dealt with Grapinho. Wow, wins that out.
So the spotlight here is over at the B side though, Wyatt. Inside the smoke on market side, west side is waiting for his moment to spring forth. Grapinho has a rifle. It's the only one though for GX here, and Flickless shows himself. That's that bridge util for a retake now. Not
west side.
Oh my god. Okay. West side with a crazy shot now, but something locks down on the flank. Jing has been on a tear this round. What? Oh my god! Yeah. What is happening?
Just the individual gunplay here is ridiculous.
Oh my god!
Unreal! Something now has to stop this. They know where he's going to be. Something mindful. Mineral Theft would reveal him inside main, but it's going to disrupt the plan. Grapinho now's gotten it to half, and something needs a better gun instead of reloading, and Westside brings it down. The most unlikely of MasterCard thrifties there for GX. Comes at one of the most important moments.
What on earth are we seeing in that?
You're saving good. 50,
The first shared headshot. Westside breaks one panel in the wall that has been such a nuisance. Immediate headshot on the cross. Oh my god, what a round. I feel you.
Good job, guys.
And
they keep doing this.
It was the rounds like that that got GX back in the game on Ascent and then eventually propelled them to the win on that map. Crucial eco round pickups.
Uncanny from GX, but they still find themselves behind the pack. Cloud just takes the timing there. That was back on Link. Forsaken thought he had gotten deep, but now he's been dug out. I'm just waiting for a GX re-clear. It's going to happen at some point. Ara trying to post up with the op now, though. Punished. PRX very quickly spring into action. Down the op player.
Flickless not able to assist. Didn't have a stun there. Wants to pick up the line.
Ooh.
2 GX players here. They have to fight off all the Paper Rex. Flickless a little bit too eager, and now Cloud caught in the corner by that showstopper.
That likely will do it, especially with Devi able to stave Grapinho through spawn. That's another 4v5 conversion round for PRX, Wyatt.
Jing has just been a menace in this game so far. Going absolutely crazy.
Ara maybe just look, and the more successful reclears from GX there for elbow with multiple players. Ara goes solo, tries to post up, and oh jeez, and is punished.
It's unfortunate for GX that their positions just get pretty scrambled.
Characteristic from them.
Kill.
They are very regimented on this map, especially.
Now Paper X have picked up that op and thrown it over to Devi. Shades of the Lotus play. This is a classic from GX, but Paper X, they are totally out the way of it. Patman gets out of there.
They got Sentinels with this 2 rounds out of 3. Not PRX though, a little too canny for it. They've been able to take up residence on this A side, and West side's trying to ask the question, do I stay or do I go? Jing dominates him from above. Now Cloud being as low as he is, he tries to go up and get a weapon. Punished for that as well. Jing won't be ready for the corner. That is one for Ara. Fast lane will get him out.
At this point, likely to just save with this rifle. You're exactly right. That's
penatnya.
a play that GX were finding success
Memikir.
in the EMEA Stage 2 playoffs, found success with against Sentinels, but Paper
Dia
X,
kena
they played
bekas tu
around
kena
that, and
atas.
specifically, it's
So air
Pattern
tu
playing
turun
around
lah
that.
macam
It
tu lah.
realizes what's happening, gets all the way back
Ataupun
into
tu
the
pakai
saya
side, and then just
berpikir
patiently
macam
waits for
apa
the moment to get
yang
back in
sesuai.
and catches one of the GX
Macam
players
terfikir.
wrapping through tiles after the play.
Dia
He
pikir.
handled that exactly as you need to.
He's been
Just
here.
as you need to do to counter this GX aggression.
Pac-Man's been on this roster now for quite some time, but his addition really allowed for that more well-rounded strategic approach.
Mythic apa
PRX
yang
no
bagus?
longer just
Itu yang
W
saya
gaming,
tak
right?
faham.
That was the turning point. His addition brought them from one of our great top teams in Valorant to world beater squad, favorite to win champions.
See it there, and it's just the decision to play around that push-up mid.
What the
I
hell?
haven't seen any team
Mabuk kau ni.
really be able to deal with this GX defense outside of Liquid online when they were at their absolute peak in the playoffs run. Aside from them, GX have been able to beat all of the other competition in Europe, dismantled Sentinels on this map. It's really only been absolute top tier teams that have been able to do it, which obviously right now Liquid a bit of a downturn after game 1, but can't discredit the fact that their play during the EMEA playoffs run was world class.
I mean, a sweep of the EMEA final, I think, is pretty telling. Here, GX have found success on this map when they've been able to, fight for that space in numbers. I'm thinking back to that, multiplayer re-clear midway through an A hit into elbow. That paid out well for them, but PRX are still winning rounds down a play.
Can good plus 1 year when casting can
they still ended up losing in the 5v4.
And also, for PRX's sake, going up against a team who like to be so active on defense, the fact that you can kill their offer and recover the off and can use that to nullify defensive aggression, like one of the best tools in the game to do so, that's just even further giving them a bit advantage.
Yeah, we're seeing more of that attack side Senti op from Devi.
Very meta generally, but yeah, more from Devi. He was
great on
so
Lotus too.
on Lotus he was just a standout, right? This time, PaperX back to B main, all the way grouped up. They've been doing a good job of just removing these west side trips from Choke. Again, it's just depleted. He keeps putting this one main, but the shock is breaking it from something.
There is a trick here, though, that could punish Jing, who likes to tuck in that corner after hitting the site. Well, he won't get onto the side at all. Cloud! What a Hunter's Fury!
Yeah.
Jig and Devi.
Sampai pun kena.
I think Devi maybe could have played to a res on Jing, but then he also dies, so no one will be getting raised in this round. And we've been talking about the 4v5 for PaperX, how much
Nggak bagus loh
or
saya
how
punya
absurd
ini.
the conversion rate on that has been in this series, but the 3v5 surely not, right? Surely our 3v5 conversion rate isn't just above 50%.
Pac-Man actually able to get a timing on Ara. Already set for the shot, forcing Ara off the line. Trade out by Flickless now, who makes a solo venture into elbow with that screen active in the last moments.
Oh no, Forsaken was making a lot of noise in B main. West side, does he dare step out?
Forsaken
Oh
is
my
a good
god.
idea. There is an op there by Forsaken, so he might have to take that up again.
I mean, what is going on now? Something is just threaded the needle into A spawn, teleport towards A for Forsaken.
He does have the spike though, so he has to get this spot up at some point.
I mean, again, something only has 12 seconds, now has to get back to the site.
Could
Look at the mini-map, man. This is chaos now. Forsaken said, okay, bet, I'll take your position in the spawn.
Forsaken!
Cloud.
He got him off the spike! That is nuts! Flickless, dirty work. That map was turned upside down.
Oh my, I mean, it's just pandemonium across the mini-map. But Flickless plays to the out of just throw him up into the skybox.
That's the tune to a 3-round win. I'm taking that trade every day of the week. Oh, the Sage Wall there makes it a bit uncomfortable.
Sweet.
Oh, so the timing on that is perfect.
Why so stupid?
I mean,
Specialization.
Chaos round.
Specialization.
Somehow they almost brought it back, by the way. They had me believing they were
were
going to
3v5 to start.
I was very invested in the fact that they were somehow going to win that 3v5, but Flickless, the cool hands prevail.
Ara's pushed up here. Waiting for an Aldrin around this one way. We'll give that space up. Flickless not quite in position to help out with a fault line.
Aura has been pushed up a lot in this game, and it's yet to really net too much value. PaperX have been exploiting his forward positions by getting entry kills onto him.
Flickless has used a lot of his util here. Just the flashes now. Aura with a relay bolt. Devi already up on the corner though. Smoked out.
Look at this. Just pacey rotate. They've got 4 players now onto this A site.
PRX sniffed this out. There's obviously the chance to work different parts of the map, but they obviously concerned about the Cypher. Ding! He's seeing that whole time by Flickless.
That is criminal!
In midair! Just winked it out. Gets deeper on towards Link. Rubinho at least shuts him down, but that was ungodly, and it's an opener for PRX. They can now look to exploit. Forsaken crouches into the shot. Nara is dashed aside. Cloud trying to work around this wall. Rubinho finds the corner. There's a player trying to spike down. Rubinho's found 3.
Kenapa dia ucu-ucu tu?
Without a paddle, Spike out of his grasp, and an Aldrone looking to slip him out.
Surely Nara and smoked off. GX have to lock this one up. They just make the call for that full rotate towards the A site. PaperX have been going for a fair amount of re-hits. They were positioned, ready, and even with Jing getting an absolutely illegal kill onto Flickless with the satchel in, they still just have more than enough players to lock it down. Kind of goes for more, and Gravino's just ready for that swing through.
And then he finds 2 more.
Dan situ.
I don't know if there's a lack of awareness about the fact that he's sort of poked around the corner, or maybe feels like he's been covered from boxes. Devi, in theory, could have had that corner held. A little breakdown in communication there for PRX. Their plan attempt is thwarted, and now this game is closed up to 2 rounds. And the money for PRX is okay. They've got 4 ultimates to work with here. I can see why they're frustrated.
Alex has definitely been frustrated at the last couple round losses. Great time to get a timeout in. They've got all the ultimates up, as you mentioned. Ensure that you're getting 7 on the board using all these ults, right? It would be a massive disappointment for PaperX if they can't close one of these rounds out with that arsenal.
And back-to-back 1 rounds for GX, though, means they're buying for the rest of the half, so no concerns economically. Although for them, there's no big ultimates on the horizon, really. Maybe
that's really the thing, right? If PaperX min-max the ults, they can use some for this round, use some for the next round, and that can be enough to win it out. Yeah, against the GX, who will have none.
Maybe a fast play behind the something Hunter's Fury might be in order. So the Cypher util at B, though, makes that a difficult prospect, but that can be cleared, of course. The Shocks have been good at taking out the B main trip, for example. Westside's not really
dekat ni, 46. Cannot.
Oh, he has just been throwing that trip pretty much every
46, budak 46.
Oh, nice.
That must have been. Grabinho was in a place that's hard to hit with that showstopper. After on top of Kiosk in the 10 spot. And this man finds himself 1, but again,
Jing.
still have that number
Nice.
Sheriff to work with, though.
timing out main. Forsaken swings onto Westside, the lone anchor on site.
There's no eyes on main for Westside. There's not much he could have done. Ara might want to try and play into the site early, or at least imply that he's done so with his fast lane.
Another round should be good as done. Only 1 ult necessary for this one. That is so ideal for PaperX. They just have to stop Aura and Flickless.
Yeah, it's going to play the way into the side. Ara's only had 2 frags for the half. It's been a quieter outing for the Neon.
Look at this delay, though. They're slowed on one side, walled on the other.
And Jay's going to be standing in their way now as well. Talk about arresting It's just Ara in that 1 versus 3, and his troubles, his woes continue. PRX have made
lagi.
And like you mentioned, only the cost of the showstopper there.
They just bring that round to 0 to 100 straight away. Jing through. Yeah, it's like a basically direct on the Gravidia. That's crazy. What a rocket. And then Patman had just been on that late lurk, waiting in mid to cut off the rotators.
I mean, that's such a hard spot for Westside to be in. He knows that market's compromised. He knows there could be a push out of main.
And with the advantage PaperX have in terms of the numbers, they don't even feel like they need to take backside control or anything, right? Just wall it off. We'll slow the other side, delay. It's fine. 3 ults for this final round. PaperX to get in the lead. 8 to 4. This is GX's best map, but realistically, I think you could say the same probably for PaperX.
And they didn't play much of it in Stage 2 at all. They played Bind 5 times, Haven 4 times. They actually had a narrower map pool of played maps in the stage than most of their contemporaries. But everything is still
I think
well and good on this map.
I think they are just incredible here. Flickless, First kill, that was Batman on the cross.
Top mid was where that shot came from. A Divine Jing in the side. Hunter's Fury coming out from something.
Oh yeah.
We just see here though. Shorty for Forsaken. A rare
Alah.
Alah.
That's enough for him and Grabinho now to bully their way back into the side. It's on something. Something that Flickless is already accounting.
Oh yes.
It may not matter. Something looking to the corner of the masonry. Sees Ara first. Grabinho is in no better shape than he is. 21 plays 46. Spike out on B. And something is slowing it down.
Crisis public event. Going there.
Unfortunately, not one of Omen's abilities.
Ada masa lagi.
Come on.
Ada masa.
Bibiling.
From his perspective, Grabinho could basically be anywhere.
For something, it could be nothing or it could be everything, Wyatt.
Oi, salah tengok.
Grabinho, but this time, Grabinho hits the jackpot.
Bila reveal. Kau ada kau tu sabar.
Very scrappy, very competitive first half, and GX getting those 4 rounds in a row was huge for them. We'll get a quick break. We'll be back, of course, with the conclusion of this decider map. Winner goes to playoffs.
Shut down the cell tower within 3 minutes. The cell tower. The cell tower.
Dia lupa dia over.
Hey. Itu saya siapa tadi?
PRX here have 7 rounds to their name after a pretty high-paced attack side, but their opponents who were virtually invisible domestically in kickoff, invisible in stage 1, make the changes by adding 3 rookies, and now they've done enough themselves on this first half of Sunset to potentially put themselves into playoffs over who many people believe is the best team in the world. GX looking very good, but they need to get Ara in this game. Coinbase Econ report, of course, we'll be looking at first to highlight Jing, who is 14-8 right now, with some pretty filthy moments on this map. Hard hitting on towards that B side especially.
Yeah, so crucial for the entries. We saw one of those last rounds, that really fast-paced double satchel with the showstopper into market. That was crazy. And honestly, in terms of pace, I think GX pretty much they match PaperX on this map. We're going to see a lot of fast play. Aura is going to have to come to life here on attack because GX's game plan revolves around really nicely paced, sequenced out util around Aura, putting him in positions to get easy entry kills by connecting great fault lines, connecting crucial paranoias, etc. And those pieces of utility will come usually in perfect succession, and that's what PaperX are going to have to go up against. But GX Aura needs to come to life.
Yeah. What I like about Aura though is he will slow down if he is too far ahead of that util. He has such a great sense for the pacing to make sure that it all lines up. The Flickless was incredible on Ascent in setting him up. It's going to have to be a mirror image of that on the Sunset attack side.
That being said, if there is one agent that is also great at slowing down the pace of attack or stalling them out, it will be that Sage. Device utility should have big impact here on the defense. The way that Patman anchors B with the wall is sick, but right now, B ignored by GX. It's an effort to work up towards this A side.
Ni were 6 nanti lama lagi.
Triple facing down here, trying to take some kind of contact. They're mostly just stacked up towards Link on account of that.
Up for some contact here via Lincoln. Outside of that retake, wanted to slow down this push in towards elbow. They know what's coming. And they've given that part of the map up on purpose. Oh, something had
Wih,
his
mantap lah something.
perfectly for that and a
Wih, dah masuk tu.
With this guy on pistol rounds, he has been a demon today.
It's practically extrasensory perception.
Flickless has
Oh, ramai.
got the aftershock ready to play within this post line. Corbino, look at the situation he's in.
So dangerous. There was a shoulder pick, not full committal for Devi, and so Jing's going to be able to take the frag.
Something again, and that's Flickless down. The utility removed.
Yep. For the retake, that's going to make things pretty difficult for GX as they play off the side. Something. Just the god with the ghost.
Another triple. Triples on both pistol rounds.
No, he had a quad.
Oh, that was a quad on the first
Yeah.
one? Oh, my bad.
Sorry,
and then
bro.
it was
Get
an
it right.
ace on map 1. And then, I mean, bro, what is going on with him today?
Again, Corbino always dangerous in a spot like this, but there's a slowdown, a shoulder pick from Devi to confirm. Ara gets his in the round, but that's it. that is grim satisfaction from Coach Alex. Nothing more.
Insane. I set it back on map 1, but something's formed right now. I think you could argue is maybe his all-time peak, but it's definitely one of his highest peaks he's had over the last couple months.
But more than half of his kills have come from Ghost and pistol rounds.
It's
Just
crazy.
want to put that out.
Those rounds are pretty important. He's stepping up when they need him.
Second
and now
pistol, one for
got a
PRX,
rifle.
you're right.
It's crazy.
All right, here comes Ara, steps up to the plate though, the light is very good. What a recon, something sets up for the first kill and takes a second for himself. Jing
Go.
doesn't want to be left out. Refuses to be a footnote on a round like this, but Flickless will get the drop on him. Stinger always dangerous.
By the way, we've had zero time to mention it, but that was a
That is
force from
okay.
GX. No
Let's
time to
go.
mention it because they got absolutely brutalized by a util combo play from PRX, a late nade. The recon comes over top.
Tak jadi.
We've seen that from Something's point of view. Unbroken, free for Jing.
I feel like there's a tipping point here. This first gun round, if it's not successful for GX, this map gets away from them pretty quickly. Tough pistol round to run into. Losing both pistols on this map, never great.
On the first half, it was a thrifty round win that got them back into it. It was West Side with a Sheriff. And on Ascent, it was 2 rounds like this as well, but yeah, Something, he is just simply not easing up.
Expecting more from that, and he was right in a sense.
Yeah.
Swarming with GX players right now, but Jing is feeling himself. We'll take 2 with that Spectre. It's just Cloud.
Yes.
Spike is in mid. All but impossible. And so Pistol and Anti-Eco
Mantap.
pass without much event here. GX down by 5.
Burnout sudah diorang tu.
How
Burnout.
are you supposed to stop Paper X on one of, if not their best maps, when you have Jing and Something in top-tier individual form? 36 kills currently between the 2 of them. That is madness.
It's a very early showstopper picked up for Jing.
And 1 away from a Hunter's Fury for Something.
Yeah. Talk about ideal kill allocation. You got Jing and Something, the 2 best players to have those orbs fed to. Ara, only 1 kill so far this half. It's been quiet to be fair, but now gun round here for GX. No thrifty for them this time around, so they've got to do it the old-fashioned way. Get back into this game with the rifles.
Top mid, so they can just contact their way up here. Devi holding the angle with a very early operator. Is this something GX will be ready for? Might not even matter. They're trying to go through top mid. They're trying to split through Boba.
Slow warp to slow down this market push though, and yet GX haven't gone in there. They've got that top mid control. They're looking to try and exercise that.
Yes, Batman.
And everyone top mid, they're just stalled out. They're cut off because of the wall.
And how are they supposed to get this back? Flickless and Cloud, both the ones at the util.
And it is the pace that GX have just being stalled out.
Nah.
The existence of this Sage. It is the counter to their play.
Itu lah PRX.
Macam ni lah bro.
What a response to that split execute from Devi. And the Batman, 1 versus 2 in market.
Originally there was a slow warp there at market that made it impossible to fully split this properly.
I mean, there's even a little gap in the wall that Devi exploits.
We actually saw that on Ascent on a number of occasions.
Dekat wall siege tu adalah bagus.
Showstopper used, now Something, Hunter's Fury. Still no one on GX with an ultimate.
And look at where Something is sat. I think he might be ready to rip this. As soon as he gets an inkling, Something is up. He's going to cause a split here for Westside. Eventually, on his own,
And this is a split again through top mid, but this time into A. Aura with a crucial kill onto Forsaken. That keeps GX in the round.
This elbow presence, though, for PRX is something of concern for GX. They had to dig it out, and look, the other arm of their pincer can't actually get past the line of scrimmage onto the A side. There's going to be a wrap, but Divide's waiting for it. Aura, though, wins it out. Now it's on Jing. He has to fight his way out of this. Now, but they've not checked the corner of Jing.
Nice.
That puts PRX up in the round, and Cloud at least has the spike to recover. But the net on him is closing too.
Sense of clarity jump bahkan.
He's feeling the pressure of the walls closing in, stuck in elbow, has to get that spike, does so. But now where can he plant where he feels any level of safety? He wants to draw a Patman. This is some good intuition from Cloud. He's expecting the flank.
Patman is not the player that's going to fall into this trap. The last member of PRX that's going to be fallible to it.
Something open, facing the Sango right now.
Come on, something.
Cloud is going to have to walk across and has to hedge his bets. The last best chance for GX goes by the wayside. Another attempted split through mid, falls flat.
This is the kind of execute that they love to run, and it almost brought them the success that they needed, but they just didn't suspect that a second player would be an elbow, that Jing was tucked, and he saves the round for PRX with that two-piece.
Let's go.
GX at the 11th hour.
Let's go.
Have to throw down to stay alive in this series. PRX, as expected, would be advancing first out of this group to playoffs.
And it's wow, fast play down mid. Jing satcheling off of that paranoia.
Cloud pinged out, Forsaken. Hears all of this and chooses not to step forward. Now gets onto the side of the bubble. Patman controlling it from one part of the map, and he gets his. Gravino, though, 3 players now inside this elbow, and they're going to go for it. Ara throwing caution to the winds. It has to be now.
What is the maneuver for GX? They're being surrounded. There's a flank coming from their spawn side. They want to flip the map. They want to play from the defense spawn. McLeod is caught. It's a 2 versus 4.
Cut off it. Is it a Hydra? Will more grow? It doesn't look like it. Ara now in a 1v3, trying to relay bolt his way out of this now. Waiting on the other side is something. Waiting for his justice.
Why?
Serious
loh, come on. Dua orang kot.
For a while, but comes back in crazy fashion with that.
3 lawan 1 tu. 4 lawan 1.
Relay bolt.
Itu yang dia habiskan. 2 lawan 1.
Against a slide like that. How are GX still in this
Tukar lah, dah baik. Mesti lagi kau pegang itu.
I was ready for the arena music to cue.
Nak simpan gimana lagi? Last round lah tadi.
Fist bumps to start, but we're still going.
GX have been able to work with a little bit more in terms of weaponry. A lot of half armors, in fact, all of them out there, but Hunter's Fury is ready for Cloud. They're in this still. Standard one-way refresh there for Forsaken. Sees that line come through. This is going to pull this over of something over to Link.
Just tries to get a bit of pre-fire off, and now Recon Paranoia just stalls up GX.
Buy some time for this rotate to be pulled across from B. GX do look committed to this.
Forsaken just jumps out to get a little bit of info. Wow, Westside got him across.
Really hoping to be a thorn and deny a wraparound, but there will be a reflank coming from PRX now, and GX know it. It's time to go. Onto the side goes Ara. Cloud trying to set him up here with a Hunter's Fury. No tags. Forsaken able to jump away from it for the most part. And now at Link, a little uncomfortable PRX.
Cloud watching the flank, Flickless getting the spike down. What can Cloud do? 1 for 1. One more kill for Flickless. He'll get that rolling thunder.
3 up though for GX. They don't have a lot to work with. Flickless needs the frag. Something that gets swung on. It's going to be Ara finding his, but Patman comes alive. And Flickless solo on the side. Hunter's rolling thunder's there. He can make use of it now. The 1v1, but Device swings on in. And finally, GX are forced to the shooting power of this PRX team will send them first into the playoffs.
How are you supposed to beat PRX when Jing and something are playing like that? I think this last map, this last win for PaperX here, the most impressive of this series, right? Being able to have your most decisive victory against GX on their best map. They looked well prepped. Between Jing and something, the 2 of them combined have dropped 44 kills. That is mad.
A banger of a series. Yeah, it felt like PRX really able to feel themselves on this sunset map. There are moments for GX. Thinking back though, man, Sentinel devastating, incredible moment, some great gameplay. I think GX were maybe hoping
Jumpa
that
balik ke
get
tak?
into the
Ke kalau
game a little
mati?
bit earlier here on Sunset though. I think he ends the first
Kalau
half with only those
mati kan?
3 kills. There are a couple of big ultimate rounds that come up. The GX aren't quite able to turn in their favor. And just some ridiculous moments there from PRX, who were able to read the splits through mid on multiple
Kiki my favorite tadi tu.
Sage, I think this comp from Paper
Panda.
really threw a spanner in the works as far as how
Kita jadi panda.
approach this map. I think it was a pretty great counter in a way. Impressive stuff from Paper X to close it out in dominant fashion, but definitely have to give respect still to
ada lagi TB kecil.
that first map off of them. Keep Lotus close. Again, just coming into this, the storylines of these two teams where they are at, back it, just reframe to the context that these teams existed in, and Toronto. Paper X winning the tournament. GX just finished 9th, 12th in EMEA, and they kept it that close, so respect.
Let's send it over Lou down on the stage for a Verizon post-match interview with Patman.
Champion des Masters Toronto, les PaperX arrivent dans le top 8 à Paris. PaperX are in playoff thanks to you. Also, Patman, first of all, congratulations for making it to playoff here in Paris. And my first question is going to be about, you know, that status.
Astaga, ada lagi paling kecil. Biar betul dorang.
Expecting you, you know, to win, to do good and stuff. So how are you guys handling this?
Yalah,
Zero
keras.
pressure?
To be honest, about that winning thing, we're not thinking about so much about that. We're just like having fun and then go round by round and game by game, because if we think too much about winning, it's not gonna be a good thing for us.
Yeah, you shouldn't be overthinking, right? Donc, première question, ils ont un statut, c'est PaperX depuis leur victoire à Toronto. Donc comment est-ce qu'ils gèrent un petit peu ça, ce statut de champion, de devoir gagner un petit peu tout le temps? Et bah tout simplement, on n'y pense pas. L'oversing, c'est clairement notre ennemi. On essaie là d'être sur le stage et de juste prendre du plaisir. And second of all, I think you guys are probably the team with the most fans out there. You have jerseys everywhere, FNS is rooting for you and stuff. So from your perspective, Patman, what makes everyone love you like that and PaperX?
I think because we play very differently and not playing like so much perfect Valorant, and
Hunter's Fury, no tags. Forsaken able to jump away from it for the most part.
And I think that's what people like really most, when the team is kind of funny and, you know, like cure to some sadness when they want to watch us. So yeah.
Exactly, you trigger emotions also, I think so. Donc pourquoi, à ton avis, est-ce que tout le monde vous adore? Il y a tellement de maillots PaperX dans le public et de fans aussi qui les suivent, tout simplement parce qu'on ne joue pas un Valorant parfait, on est amusant à regarder, on procure des émotions aussi à ceux qui nous regardent, et je pense que c'est un petit peu tout ce combo-là qui fait que ça marche. And last but not least, next match is going to be DRX versus NRG. Who do you see winning? What's your prediction?
I'm gonna root for Pacific Pride, I'm sorry, but I think it's gonna be a tough match because Energy is a really good team, and yeah, I think I just rooting for DRX.
Rooting for DRX, of course. Prochain match DRX face à NRG dans quelques minutes. Pour qui est-ce que tu soutiens? Et bien évidemment, on va aller côté Pacifique avec DRX. Thank you very much, Patman. Merci. And now it's time to discover if our talents are better than Patman at predictions. See you.
Ini dalam batu. Kesukat sudah baru. Baiklah.